And we are live, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Sunday night stream. I'm your host, Ron. Unfortunately, Daniel will not be able to make it on for the whole stream. He is busy at where he's at, which is the maker area. So he's going to try to jump in if he can, but for the time being, he is not going to be able to make it. So if you have been following us, remember always here on this show, we like to cover everything 3D printing from, the idea of fixing your printer to getting your printer up and running. But like I said, unfortunately, Daniel will not be able to make it with us today. So it's just me doing this solo here. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what makes the best 3D printer. So if you haven't already joined us before, remember that we have all our links located inside the subject matter. You're going to see Nightbot every so often come up, just tell you that we are live. If you go to our Twitter right now, you'll see that I've just tweeted out that we are streaming live here on Facebook. So if you want to be happy enough, there are two links that just popped up. If you can bring out the one that says once again Ron and Daniel, that's the one I would love you guys to retweet out. Just get the message out there. Let everyone know that we are live today. It helps numbers greatly, and I love all the support that you guys can give us out here. So without further ado, let's get into 3D printing, talking about, what makes the best 3D printer. This is where I would love to have Daniel on, because then we can throw, ideas or thoughts. What makes a great 3D printer? And I thought about this myself, because I was thinking to myself, what makes a good printer? Because there's so many different styles. You have your deltas, you have Cartesians, then we have, the i3, like an i3 would be a good idea, or would a larger build like a CR10 be a good idea? And, do you want Marlin? Do you want Repertoire? Like, everything, there's a whole bunch of pieces that go together. And I thought about it really hard last night. I mean, really hard. My ideas will be very controversial, but I'm going to have to say maybe, yeah, a Mark III, the Prusa research printers, the Mark II, not the Mark III, but the Mark II. The reason I say the Mark II, one, it's cheaper to get it fully built. That is where I would go. I wouldn't build it yourself. There are some little bit more to this, to my knowledge, to the whole idea of this, but I would say probably the Mark II would probably be your best bet. If you are a 3D user and a 3D printer, the problem is it really comes down to your own personal taste of what you want. But for a starter printer, probably the CR, I would say, yeah, you still go with Prusa MK2, only because of the price range it's in. You could probably go with if you have the money, go for the MK3. But I know that the average person's not going to have $1,000 to throw down on a printer. Let's face it. I don't have $1,000 to put down on a printer, so that's why I don't have a Prusa printer, or else I would in the other room. All I got is the CR10 and my Tronix XY right down here of the X1. If you are a tinkerer and you love to tinker, it really is open. I would say maybe the Ender 3, if you can still find it. I mean, it's a great little printer. It takes a little bit of time to put it together, but all in all, it's really nice. But you have your other problem. You don't get firmware updates. And if something's going wonky with your printer, or you want to put a new firmware, you have to get one of these. Open up your control box and do the wiring. This may scare a lot of people, where with the CR10, sorry, with the Prusa, all you have to do is put the software on the stick. It goes right into your printer. Bam, boom, bam. Your printer does all the work and updates itself, which makes it a lot easier for an updater. But, if you know anything about Marlin and you know that you want the new Marlin, then this is the way you gotta go. And this can be very scary for people because not only do you have to wire up everything, but it's also dangerous for a lot of people because people will go, oh, well, I'll stick my hand. Well, if you don't know anything about electronics and you don't know anything about main voltage, that can be very dangerous because you want to make sure that everything is powered off in your box. But if you do not, if this is your first time doing something like this, that can be scary. So, in the sense of, sorry, guys, I'm just getting some information here. So, yeah, it's what comes up to you. What was your first guy's printers? I'd like to hear more from you guys and see if we can come up with an idea what would be good for our first printer. It looks like Daniel will be joining us, but a little bit later. I just got the message he is running a little late. Warning him doesn't have to rush or anything like that. So, saying hi to everybody who is on. I know Nat 3D Designs. Congratulations, buddy, on hitting over 100. And we also have right now Minnesota Maker just came in. Thank you so much, buddy. Bringing the wrenches into the house. I have a wrench too, so I'm the ultimate wrench. I can take your wrench away. No, was Da Vinci the well, which was Da Vinci? I want to say TiVo, but no, that's Michelangelo I'm thinking of. Or did TiVo do a Da Vinci? Can't remember. Oh, speaking of some not yet, man. You haven't been on my channel long enough. He seems upset. Oh man. No. I only give wrenches out to a certain amount of people, and then that's it. And then I'm going to. But I was warning. I'm just playing around with Minnesota Maker. He's been in here since the beginning. From I would say the first day Daniel came in. That's why he has a wrench. It's a boat anchor. Okay. Da Vinci Mini is a boat anchor. Interesting. In fact, the Da Vinci was a good printer. One of these days, I gotta bring Grant in here. Grant is a friend of us. He owns a printing farm, and I really want to go into printing farms with you guys. Do you guys think that would be a good idea to see, to find out more about, say, print farms? If this is something that you'd like to see, remember, all you have to do is comment. Let me know. Showing 3 in the channel, so whoever the third person is, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to chat, you can. If not, I understand. Sometimes we don't have the keyboard or the availability to chat. So let's see. Upgrades. It would be a boat anchor. Oh, it's Matt Johnson. Thanks for coming in, Matt. I do appreciate it. So I was watching someone today, and I got a little pedoed at his comments. I am going to bring that episode up right now because it annoyed the living junk out of me. I don't know why I got annoyed with it, but I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my my display here. Okay. So right here, this show. Yeah, you can't see it. There we go. Now you can probably see it. The TiVo Tornado unboxing, the best entry level printer ? Now, something he says in this video really made me go, what? Let me pull it up here.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hop.
When he's unpackaging it, it's this comment he made about the plate. Let's see if I can find it here. Here it is, the bill plate line. This kind of irked me the wrong way. Now, if you guys are available, you guys can watch this on YouTube. I will put the link in the description. Basically, it's at this point here. Share, copy. This guy has no idea what this stuff is on the printer.
And use that in the printer. That is a pretty high quality extruder and hot end. So it's exciting to see that they would provide that in such a entry level machine like the Tornado. And here is the base of the printer. You can see that it is a big print area. So this is a 12-inch by 12-inch build area, or a 300 by 300 millimeter area, and the y-axis is fully assembled.
Okay, first of all, mathematics. We all know that a 300 by 300 is not a full equal 12 by 12 inch. Just saying, I have a 12 by 12 inch mirror down on my printer. It leaves little gaps. Well, you guys can't see me, so let me minimize this again. Leaves a gap like that across the whole bed. So it's not really 12 inches. Let's face it. And let's face it also, the bed itself that you have the printer on is also not a full 300 by 300 print area, because we have to leave a little gaps because we have those stupid clips on them. I'm just saying. But just going 12 by 12, is it really? Because if I did my math, I know. It just boggles my mind when people talk about it, saying, well, it is this. It's like, no, it's not. But I'm just saying that I was able to let go, but just say 300 by 300 millimeters, which is close to 12 inches. That's the way I would have put it. So the guy never even talked about the height of it. He said, "Oh, well, look at this bed." Now, this is gonna make you laugh what he says about the bed. I know. I agree with you, Knack. I understand. Hey, Miss Gal, thanks for coming on. You have a hammer too, so you know what to do when bad people come in. Hey, Robbie Mack's in the house, so thank you for coming in. Also, Robbie Mack. But I'm just gonna get back into the video here a little bit because I haven't finished watching this whole thing yet, so oh boy. Well, game messages again. Forgot to turn off the phone. Okay. There we go. Turn the sound off. Come on, connect. There we go. Okay, well, go back into the video a little bit more. Yeah, I won't go on about the 12 inch. It's just irritate, that's all. So yeah, let's continue on and see what else he says here.
So I'm going to hold this, make sure there's nothing else in this box, which it doesn't appear to be. So I'm going to slide that off the table. And now we can get a good look at the y-axis and the hotbed. Cable out from underneath. So the awesome thing about this heat bed is that it's actually an AC-powered heat bed. What that means is that it's directly connected to mains voltage. It's not powered by DC, it's plugged directly into AC, which means that it should heat up really quick. And that's important with such a large build area, Sometimes the build plates like this could take a while to heat up at 12 volts DC. So often you would want to convert yours to a 24-volt system. This skips that entirely and instead jumps directly to 110-volt AC. So it's directly powered by your outlet. So I'm curious to see just how fast it actually heats up. And we can see here that when they actually ship it to you, it comes with a print already on the bed. So this is the TiVo logo, but it's actually printed on the bed. So I'm guessing that they've done some quality assurance when they put the printer together. They made sure it printed before shipping it out. So that's cool. Looks like a decent first couple of layers, and that's it. 3 pieces, and should be pretty easy to put together. So that will come in future videos. I'm excited to get this thing together and try it out. I've heard pretty good things about it, so I'm
Okay, and that's where I'm going to end it. Now, oh shoot! Sorry, guys, the video just went dead. Let me see if I can fix this again. Stupid camera. There we go. I'm back. Sorry about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that doesn't look like a print on there. That looks like it's the like a build plate, like build tech on there. So that is not a print that's coming off the printer. That's build tech. The guy just said it's the first couple layers on the print. Am I right? Am I wrong? Guys, thoughts, honestly. Now, I haven't heard of Hoffman Engineering. Guy got 15 subs, No, it is a print? Okay. Because it looks more like when I was looking at it from what the shot looked like more that was a build plate on there. Because I don't remember yours came with that print on it. Okay. My mistake then. I don't think you did peel it off. Like I haven't gone through the whole thing because I got cut off because of the internet issues. But looks like he just puts it together from looks of it. But we can check that out. Let's go see if he does. Let's go back to display catcher.
just curious to see how it works. So, thank you guys for joining me on this unboxing. If you have example prints that you would like to see in a 12 by 12 by 16 build area, I would love to hear your comments down below. Give me suggestions for that kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys next time, hopefully with a fully assembled TiVo Tornado.
That's it. That's all he shows. We watched the end of the video. Did he peel it off? No. I don't know what to say. I really don't. That review was just pushed out because he had something. I don't know. Your thoughts, guys. Honestly, I want to hear what you guys think, of that whole video wise. I guess. I don't know. I found it because I clicked on 3D, because I typed in pound 3D printing and that video popped up as like the newest video. I'm like going, huh? And I was watching him like going, TiVo Tornado has a bad history, a very bad history of people just getting a lot of bad reviews. Now, there have been some people that have had luck with that TiVo tornado. Premium Professor being one of them who's had very bad luck with TiVo. There are other people I know that have TiVo tornadoes and had nothing but headaches with them or had everything work right out of the box. But I've heard on the majority of them, it is tinker, 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 print, 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 print. And then it's back to tinker, 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 then print, 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 print. Granted, Minnesota Maker, I did say that. I said some of them come out of the box and they print immediately. The majority of them need to be tinkered to hell. It happens. You're going to get bad ones. You're going to get good ones. Now, I don't know if TiVo's has improved their quality. I don't know. I don't own any TiVos. Like I said, that's why we do the Sunday night show, just to talk about printers and talk about, all genre. So who's still here? We got, so if I've already missed you, sorry again, but yep, we have in the room right now, Nat 3D Designs, Minnesota Maker, Matt Johnson was in here, Robbie Max in here, and I believe also we still have Miss Glow in here, hopefully. And if there's anyone I'm missing, please just say I'm here so I know that, and I will we'll continue on with this. Yep, Miss Glow's still here. Okay. See, I do remember you. Jeez. Now some people. The whammy subject? Okay. Actually, let me just check something here. Oh, Prince Sol is dropping Creality again? Oh boy. This I did not hear about. Give me a second, people. I'm gonna do something here. Mm. Maze in this one. I'm just looking for somebody's information here, but I don't see it. So, Nat 3D Designs. I'm gonna invite you into the room. Give me a second. I can invite you in the join this way. No, it's not allowing me to do it that way. Oh, Google, you're a pain. So now, if you want to come in, you're welcome to. That link right there will bring you into the chat. Bring you right into the video. As long as it's not your official link, The one that you would get if you're affiliate. I do not want affiliate links in here, please. But you got your wrench. So what I was doing is I was just seeing if there's a way that I can privately message people. And it seems that they've disabled that again inside Google, which is a shame, actually. Hello, Rover. Thanks for coming on in. Okay, let's pull it up, guys. Let's have a look. There they go. They are, yeah, here it is. We are ending our relationship with Creality 3D Prints. We cannot continue to sell their products when they steal from the Marlin firmware. Read about how we are clearing out our inventory and giving back to Marlin firmware. So let's have a look and see what they got. Now you notice it looks backwards, so I do apologize, but this is something that my computer does. So they put out a statement here about how they're thought they said the Ender 3 was fully open sourced. We know that their CQ has been an issue since day one. It's an interesting stand that they're doing, though. So yeah, that's not bad. That's interesting. I heard the CRX was coming out with firmware update, was coming out with an actual update to the firmware and was going to be open source. But then again, this is Creality. They're a Chinese company. They do what they want to do because they're not. Here's where I'm going to get into a little bit of questionable area. Where lines get a little blurred, especially in China, because in China they really don't have any laws that complicate to copying and rebuilding machines, and they're fighting with each other in their own country now over printers. The thing I say about China is it's a mixed ball of wax when you for anything when it comes to printers, print stuff. You talk to people that live in China, they'll tell you the same thing. It's weird up there. It's not. It's a communist country, so The thing is, 9% of our printer, 9% of people buy from China because it's cheap. Quality is a secondary story. I thought they said they were going to re-release. I thought they said they were releasing the CRX. If they're not going to release the CRX, then they're just falling back on what they said they were going to do. Oh, they're back in the offenders list again, eh? Well, we always know ANET, Troxy, Semicolon, Gerora, TiVo, Anycube. So they are refusing to release the source code for CRX. Now, something I found out about Zone Star being listed on the question mark compliant is that Zone Star is trying to be as compliant as possible. I've talked with them. I know people that have the printers that have talked with the company, and they are trying to be as compliant as possible. Granted, it is China. They don't understand what open source actually means. They don't believe in open source. They believe in closed society. That's what they're taught in their own countries. It is like that in China. Don't know what else I can say about it, but that's them. But no, I know I know this website. This is, I think, is run by, if I remember correctly, is this still being run by who I think it is? Is this still website still being ran by our good friend Timothy Hoagland? Yeah, TH3D. Okay. Yeah, I thought this is Timothy. I know about this site for Timothy Hoagland. I haven't heard. I did not know about the CRX. I heard rumors we were getting it from another source. But if Timothy's saying no, they haven't released it yet, then I'm going to believe Timothy because Timothy's knows the owner of, knows the creator of Marlin, and he stays on top of everything from Marlin. So the Marlin guy saying we've heard nothing, then I'm going to believe what I hear. That someone said no, they released all the information. I'm like going, did they now? So knowing that, that's a little bit upsetting to know that we're still getting that Creality still does not want to be friends. This is interesting. I'm looking at printed solids pictures, and they all look like the freaking pictures that what's his face draws. Oh, what's his name? Another 3D printer that he comes every time to Murph. I'm not saying 3D printing professor. Oh, what's his name? B. You know who I'm talking about, Carl?
I missed that question. What was it?
I'm looking at the printed solid picture that they have on their Twitter, and it's almost the same type of design that another YouTuber has. He's now mostly does Twitch now. Oh shoot. Nergasm. What's his name?
Are you talking the cartoon thing in the background?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't place it.
He goes by Nergasm is his major Barnacles. That's it. Barnacles.
Okay.
Yeah. Same type of art style that Barnacles does for his pictures.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a friend of mine to draw up the design for my new shirts. Well, for my first shirts.
Yeah, I think Def Leppard is not your brand.
No, definitely not. No.
Just like Nike's not my brand, you know, but
Favorite band of all time, though.
really? Oh. Thought you'd be more of a Metallica fan.
I like them too, but Def Leppard was the first and always. So
okay. Hey, listen, I have nothing against Def Leppard. I think Def Leppard is one of the more interesting rock bands of the era that have come out during the glam days of glam rock and everything else. But also the fact that their drummer is one-handed is pretty impressive.
And last I checked, they still hold the record for the longest running band of all time, because all the other ones have split up, done solo careers, and then gotten together. Def Leppard has never broken up.
Wow. Okay. I hear they're coming out with another album sometime next year or something like that. I was reading.
I believe it. They don't seem to stop.
No, and we really need to re-energize the glam rock era, because I mean, come on, I'm getting sick and tired of the candy pop that's coming out on radio nowadays. I mean, every song sounds the same, every Teen Throb sounds the same. It's like repeat Beaver over and over and over again, just a different face and different body. But other than that, how's it feel to hit 100, man?
Oh, it's great. Best part was going out and reserving the name finally. You know, I go, okay, yes, I am Knack 3D Designs now, and I get to keep that. So
brings a smile to your face every time you think about it, eh?
Oh, it does. Yes. It's like, okay, I've cemented my position in society now. I have a website.
That's all I got to do now is design my website, get my website out and out there. I really do need to talk to someone who's in design to, just create a couple banners, because we are on Facebook right now. We got a link for that. If you guys type in facebook.com/Canadian Maker Project, put in your, I have it as a closed group, but if you guys are to go on there right now, register yourself on there. When I see the request, I will let you guys in if I trust you. And I do trust everyone that's on my channel. So, certain people get wrenches. Certain people will not have wrenches. That's why you now have a wrench, because you need to post some links. So I give you the precious wrench of power.
Oh, thank you. It's like getting the key to the city, right?
Exactly. Only my dear friends get those. So you know what I should do? I should print a whole bunch of wrenches, like printable wrench, and just mail them out in the blue color with the YouTube logo on it saying subscribe.
I was just thinking, will that wrench work to get me into Canada?
I'm afraid not. No.
Oh, it's good thing I got one of those passport cards now. Then,
huh?
It's good thing I got one of those passport cards now that you have to have.
Oh, your Nexus?
I don't know what they call that thing, but the new passports, we've got a regular passport, and then they gave us this little ID card now that's supposedly good for crossing into Mexico and Canada. Anywhere else, you got to use your regular passport. But if you want to cross the border to a land bordering country, you can just use that little card.
Okay, so it must be the Nexus card then.
Must be.
Nexus is a card that I had to apply for myself. But I canceled it because they wanted to charge me X amount of money. I'm just like, no, it's not worth it now. But what it allows me to do, go back and forth across the state, across the line. But I thought to myself, if I'm not going to be, if I have to go to the border 4 times a month, then yeah, the card is worth it. But if I'm only going over the border 2 times out of a year, then I don't really see a need for the Nexus card.
Ours, it's like pay for it once and it's good for like 5 or 10 years, however long the passport's good for.
Yeah, but they want me to pay for it on top of having already the passport. I'm like going, why do I want to pay another fee for a passport I already have?
Right. Not the one nice thing about it is for those people that need the multiple forms of ID, it's something small. You can keep it in your wallet as opposed to that big passport book.
Exactly, and that's why I'm thinking of getting I was still looking at the card. The card's only good for driving; it's not good for flights. So I'm thinking to myself, well, sometimes I have to fly to these locations. I'm better off bringing the book then.
Yeah.
I do want it to be compact enough that I can carry a card and go, hey, here's my card. You're on the plane. So I want something simple and easy.
Oh, the worst of it is the way it's gotten here in the U.S. now. Some states don't meet the requirements now for air travel. You have to have that card just to travel between the United States now, because Pennsylvania's driver's license doesn't meet the new federal guidelines, and I don't know what it's missing. But so now if I want to fly on a plane, I have to have that passport card anyway, because they won't accept my driver's license as a form of ID.
That is bizarre.
Luckily for me, I have a retiree military ID, which is good for everything. So, but
that's good then. Well, I know Miss Glow is also from Pennsylvania, so she might know a little bit about it. I don't know, but Miss Glow, if you know anything about this card, let me know a little bit about it. Post it up if you know what he's talking about, them not having the right paperwork or whatever it is. I'd like to know more about that. So as you guys all know, I've been playing with these little things. I don't know, not 3D. I don't know, Carl. I don't know if you played with these before. The mini spools. Have you seen them before?
What is it?
Mini spools.
Mini spools. Mini spools.
Mini spools.
Personally, this one here, I hate it.
Really? Which one's that one?
I have no idea whose it was. I found one out there. I got it for doing the samples that came with MakerBox. The problem is the MakerBox samples are so largely wound. You hang a sample and it just hangs right out the bottom. You'd have to do like you guys were trying to do the other night and rewind it onto the spool, which is, I've done it. It's a nightmare. It's not worth the headache. Someone needs to make one of these. It's got like a 4-inch center and then only like 3/4 of an inch on top, because we all want it for the same thing. Doing our MakerBox or our UFO box samples, you need someone that's got a big enough center that you can put it on there and it's not going to wobble all over the place.
That's why I like this one. This one actually has the right diameter around it.
Okay.
I found it's a little loose, but once I was able to poke the hole, I was able to get tighten it up right here. So I stuck a little filament in there. I was able to tighten it just enough that it was tight around it. And then once I pulled this out, it went boom, like a spring out a little bit. But then once I started playing with it, it actually reconfirmed back to the circle. You just got to hold it in there for 24 hours. And then the filament will fit the spool properly. It's a little loose still. Like, don't know if you can hear that shaking.
Yeah.
It's still loose in there.
Better than it hanging 2 inches down below the bottom of the spool, though.
Exactly. So this one's on Thingiverse. I grabbed it. I'm also going to look at the Master Spool mini spool. Yes, there is a Master Spool's mini spool.
I've looked at Master Spool a little bit. I'm not seeing anybody dropping the price yet. For, we're saving all this with not shipping a spool, and but we're not saving anything yet. It's like, why would I? It's one thing once I get my pallet, then it might be worth it to take all my couple meter scraps and put the pallet in load next filament mode and just keep feeding scraps in and print a spool out of 20 scrap pieces of filament. But until then, it's like, I don't want to waste a roll of, a good roll printing spools for, master spool shipments.
Well, then you might like these ones. This is from my friends over at filaments.ca. They make a master spool. You got to use their spool, unfortunately. Their spool is set up in such a way that you can retie it back up and store it away, so you don't have to keep it on the spool. They also they charge $15 for a spool of their EcoFill. Now, here's the little bit of the butt part. For shipping outside of Canada, I know they charge $17.99 to ship it out to the average consumer. But if you buy up to $200 worth Canadian, That's Canadian dollars, not American dollars. Shipping is then free. But
It's like $100 US then, huh?
something like that. About 175, I think, if I remember. If I
Something like that,
right. Yeah. But here's the kicker: they don't have any more. They're sold out of everything. We came back from Murph, and they said they had so many orders that they basically sold out of everything. Their EcoFill, their PLA's all sold out. Their PETG's all sold out. I think all they have is Gray left, and they have a couple other brands. That's it. All their Master Spool stuff is gone, and they are waiting on their Canadian supplier to come back with more spools for them so that they can sell it again. But they said it's up to the print house to get them out to them, and that's what they're waiting for right now.
That sounds almost the same as the story I keep hearing about Hatchbox, why everything on their website says out of stock. Yep. We're waiting for our supplier to restock us.
Yeah, when you become popular, that's the problem. You become too popular, and then it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I just can't deal with this anymore. Stupid filament that comes in a bundle and is everywhere.
Well,
when you're printing,
you can see behind me, I've got quite a few maker boxes. Those are all full of samples I haven't gotten around to trying yet. Oh, I ended up canceling my subscription. I'm like, okay, I went a year and I only processed about half of what they sent me. And I got doing other projects, and it's, okay, I have to find time to load the filament and then print a benchy and a vase and a coin and a sample card so I can run it through its paces. And it's like, and then when I'm done, I have nothing, barely a meter left. It's like, okay, well, I have something for reference. But it's finding time.
I agree. It's not easy. Like, I mean, I got 2 samples when I was at Murph. I decided to take them on the Maker Box samples that they were selling. So I said, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. So I picked up a roll of the Filamentum Gold, and I have a roll of the Glow in the Dark Glow series.
Okay.
I have not used the glow because I know the glow will destroy my nozzle like no tomorrow. This is a nozzle destroyer from what I've been told.
Yes, it is.
And personally, I don't want to be changing my nozzle right now, but also I'm trying to get the CR10 up in a fashion that I know if I give it a print, it's going to print with no problem.
Were you at IRF?
I was at IRF, and that's when my printer broke down.
Did you get one of the nozzles from E3D that they were handing out at IRF?
No, I did not. I got them at Murph, but I didn't get that at IRF.
Because unfortunately, the ones they were handing out at Murph were not a hardened nozzle, but they were coated. The ones they were giving away at IRF, rumor has it, were hardened with the coating, which lasts like forever. Then you would have had a free hardened nozzle you could have put in, and you could have tried your glow in the dark. And This is when you send a nicely worded email to E3D Designs going, hey, how come I didn't get handed one of those?
Never mind. At Murph, I was handed a lot of stuff. Not only did I get my full kit here, that's from guys over at TH3D. I bought my stuff from them, and I bought a new... I got my printed solid V6 hot end from the guys that printed solid.
I probably sold that to you.
No, it was the guys from Printed Solid when I was talking to them.
At Murph?
At Murph, yes.
Yeah, I was working the Printed Solid booth at Murph with David.
Yeah, it was David I was talking to directly, though.
I was like, for the longest time, people thought my name was David, or they thought I was Matt, because I worked the first time people met me was at Murph, and they knew the 2 guys that worked at Printed Solid were either David or Matt. So half the people out there thought I was David, the other people thought I was Matt. I'm like, no, I'm neither one. I just was along for the ride and offered to help out.
Oh, I also ended up with this. IC3D, when I walked by, I said, too bad you guys were just selling ABS. I mostly do PLA. And they said, well, hang here. threw me a roll of this, of their orange. Sorry, of their yellow. Apparently, this is about the same yellow that they did the Pet G in. So it's kind of like going, oh, okay, thanks. I'm building the enclosure. I'll build the enclosure soon and give it a run. But the summer's just been terrible for trying to get anything done. Yeah, you got roll 2, didn't you?
Yeah, I got the orange.
Ah, okay. I think my friend got the red one.
Of course, I asked for the orange because Sean asked me what color I wanted. Because I was like, oh, I prefer printing with ABS and, for doing cosplay props, everything, so I can adhere it with acetone and sand it and paint it. And I kind of want to print my own sword like the one Midnight Giant gave me.
Oh, is that from Midnight Giant's collection?
Yeah. He actually had this one at Earth. And I fell in love with it, and so did my daughter. And he was packing up everything. He goes, you know what? One less to take home. Here, take it. So I joked that's his maker coin.
Nice. That's a beautiful sword, though.
Oh, I love that one.
I like the one that comes apart in 2,
Oh, yeah. That's one of the few he's got actually posted out on Thingiverse so far.
I'm going to have to try printing that out then.
He's going to be posting a few more, is what he keeps telling me. And if all goes as planned and you go to Murph next year, what we're planning on building for Murph is going to just blow everybody's mind. So we're going to have way too much fun with it.
Okay, we've got some information about that driver's license. Thanks to Robbie Mack. Robbie Mack says here in Illinois, where he is, says they are requiring more ID for the updated license. Without it, you won't be able to fly soon. He says he gathers it's a federal requirement. All I know is that they have a new ID look for the passports. Interesting. So I guess it's a government requirement now that they're changing the passports again. Sure, make life even harder for most people.
Yeah, got to keep all those Canadians out.
No, thanks. Yeah, you guys are evil. Evil. You guys don't want us Canadians helping out.
Oh, heck, when I was in the military, I came up and did some work out there at your NORAD facility out there in North Bay. Yeah, okay. The minute I told them at customs that I was there to work in their NORAD, it turned into 20-question nightmare. I spent 2 more hours in the airport because they couldn't believe that an American was coming up there to work on Canadian equipment. I was at the point where I'm like, look, you need to call somebody or tell me to get out of your country because I'm not sitting here any longer. I'm here to do you guys a favor and you're holding me up.
That happens a lot, believe it or not.
Yeah, North just more Bay, security. That's out in the middle of nowhere.
What?
North Bay?
Oh, North Bay is out in the middle of nowhere, yes.
Beautiful area, but man, is that out in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, North Bay, it's not surprising to see bears come out in the middle of the forest and grab you and drag you back to their dens.
Isn't that one of the places they tell you not to lock your car door so that people can escape into any car nearby if they see a bear?
Yep. That is it. Same with, I believe, also in Deep River. I think they have a law about locking your doors, that you shouldn't lock your door because bears can come out in the middle of North Bay. Now, sorry, not North Bay, but also in up in that area too. The northern towns of Canada usually are out in the middle of the woods. Gorgeous area, but yeah, they have a bear issue. And the grizzly bears are bad up there at times. Grizzly, black bears, they are usually won't bother you. But if you run into one of them, you walk the opposite way slowly. If they start chasing you, you run like the Dickens. You don't want to mess with a bear.
Yeah, don't climb a tree, run down a hill because their little legs can't go downhill as fast.
Yep. If I remember correctly, they said also don't play dead. That's an old wise tale. But
I know they say if you get cornered, about the only thing you can do is stand as tall as you can, make yourself as big as you can, and as loud as you can be, and hope that the bear feels that you're too intimidating to stick around.
exactly. Now, to give you an idea, like our driver's licenses, they put into a lot more technology into this. Now, this is the Canadian driver's license. So I'm just going to cover up some information here.
Oh, what? You're not going to show us everything?
No. But right there already, you can see on the picture, there's a little bit, if you turn it in the right light, you'll see the emblem of the trillium flower. There's, if you get a black light, you can see all the black light information behind this. It says it's a real driver's license. There's also some holographic stuff they put on here, but oh no, it's pretty nuts. You can't copy this thing anymore. Same with our house cards have it now too. Sorry, I was talking over you. Didn't catch that.
I said, I'm sure somebody will figure out how to copy it. Nothing's copy proof anymore.
Yeah. Oh, was it Daniel's able to do it? Ah, okay. Let's see if we can bring Daniel in the chat again. And we're going to talk a little bit more about, essential printers and such. But I'd like to have your thoughts also on printers yourself, because you are printing, you do have a lot of printers, and I think this will add a little bit more to the idea of which one's the best printers. But what do you think about, the first printer that you would recommend someone to buy that's just starting out? What would be your pick, Carl?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because I'll be honest, I've really ever owned Da Vinci's. I've got one back here I'm getting ready to build. Now, I've seen a lot of stuff going, I'm in and out of printed solid on a weekly basis almost. It's the advantage of driving right past it to work. If you've got the money, I still wish I had $3,000 or $4,000 to buy an Ultimaker. They seem like they've got all the perfect bells and whistles, and if you're looking for a reliable printer, they seem to be the way to go. Everybody seems to be real big on, if you want a cheap starter printer and you're willing to maybe have to fix a few problems in shipping, the Crealities seem to be getting a halfway decent rep. $1,000 printer, I'd say probably a Lulzbot would be the way to go in that price range.
No, I'm thinking like Lulzbots. Yeah, they're great printers. I've heard people having no problems with them. I heard their customer support is amazing. I was looking maybe, I know I haven't owned one, but I was thinking Wenhao might be a good brand to look at for a beginner, like their i3 Caucasian.
And a lot of people seem to really like the Prusa.
Yeah, I was going to put Prusa's on my top list of maybe not MK3, but an MK2 and have them build it for you rather than you buy it in parts and then build it yourself.
Yeah.
Daniel, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Howdy, guys.
So let's ask you, for a person that's getting their first ever printer, very first printer, what would be your pick that you'd say someone should go out and buy it and be comfortable, and they would be comfortable with it?
That's a hard question, because it depends on, what they need out of it and what their personality is like, how patient they are, that sort of thing. What's an easier answer to give is, what printers would I not recommend?
Okay.
Right? Because generally there are a whole bunch that might work. The harder question is, which specifically do you recommend? I don't know if I can give that. There isn't a one size fits all printer. But generally, there are some printers that I would steer pretty much everybody away from. So there's that. That's an easy answer to give.
Okay, what printers would you not recommend someone to
Well, what I wouldn't recommend, and unfortunately, a lot of these ones are the flashy ones that are designed to get people into printing. And frankly, they're often the least fit for that. Number one on my list, well, it used to be XYZ 3D printing, XYZ printing, basically anything by them. They're difficult to service. They are expensive to run if you have to use their own filament. Chip filament is just a no-no in my book. But that spot has been overtaken by M3D. The Micro and the Micro Plus just don't go there. The mechanics of that are just so fundamentally flawed. I would not touch those. You can't work on them either. You can't fix them. You have to just work with what they give you. I would go with something that's either open source or open source based, and neither of those two, the XYZ and the M3D, those aren't. So with those out of the way, what would I recommend?
Like my thought is Prusa, maybe.
Yeah, usually that makes the top of the list for good reason too. Actually, I know why you would recommend pre-built. I'm of the mindset that says actually it might be better to be getting a kit if it's your first printer. And here's why. If you get a kit as your first printer, that will force you, for better or for worse, to learn what all the pieces do. You know, there's no mystery about it then. And you realize, oh, this actually isn't that hard. There's these motors, and this is what they do, and this is what their plugs are. And there's these belts, and this is what they do, and this is what they're like. And, you know, you learn all the pieces like that. With many printer kits, especially older printer kits, I would not recommend them so easily to a beginner because, yeah, often documentation was kind of lacking or whatever. But the Prusa, the original Prusa, like Mark II and Mark IIs, being such a well-known, well-documented build, I think that's actually a pretty good idea, is for people to get the kit and do it themselves, because then you learn what you're getting into.
Yeah. See, I was thinking more of, you know, like, even though, yeah, I'm building a printer kit, I am doing all that. Actually, I'm getting this weird echo again. Let me see if I can turn, let's see if this thing, picking my voice here. Mute that. Testing 1 2 1 2. I'm still here, man. When I go,
I don't hear an echo. Sounds good to me.
Okay, I got everything turned off, so oh well. Okay. So, what about, like, I understand building, I agree with you 100%. I think building a printer is a good idea, but there are some people out there that just find building just so hard to do.
Yeah.
And that's
for those
up
people,
about.
I would recommend like a CR10S or something like that, where there's a little bit of building and it's cheap, but it's not like an obstacle really. You know, it's just like, here's your base and here's your top, and you just kind of bolt them together.
Well, you've heard about what's happening over at Printed Solid, right?
Yeah, I just saw the memo. So full disclosure, guys, I've been completely off the grid for the weekend. So they dropped that news on like Friday or something as I was heading out of town, so I didn't really get to see it.
I didn't even hear about it until today. So
what's old news to you guys? Everything that's happened over the weekend is completely new news to me. So yeah, give me the lowdown on how you understand it. Give me the updates.
Apparently, what they're doing is they're upset with Creality, so they're dropping Creality because they're not going to give out the firmware for the CRX.
Yeah, that's a no-no. That's a no-no.
So yeah,
you got to have that firmware.
We're not going to sell
license,
your product anymore.
The GPL. You have to be able to reconstruct, you know, everything in the product, including the firmware. So that means any modifications you do to the firmware have to be made available to the public and open source. You know, the source code, not just compiled bits, but the source code too. So yeah, I see where Printed Solid is coming from. They're a pretty big retailer and they carry some weight. So if they stop carrying yeah, Creality products, then I think hopefully they'll change their policies. Because then if all of us then can get access to that code, you know, it's good for everybody.
Yeah, it was Nat that broke it. It was Nat at 3D Carl at 3D design, Nat 3D design. So let me know about that. So thank you so much, Carl. I do appreciate it.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not seeing any of the YouTube comments because I'm just on my phone here. I don't have the webcam for my laptop. So if anybody's got questions or stuff in the comments section, you'll have to relay those to me.
Yeah, they're just complaining about the echo. They can hear it too. So.
Oh, they can hear it.
Ooh. Yeah. It's that when you came on, we started getting this echo issue. So.
Let me see. Maybe I can tweak with this. Let me see what I can do.
I don't have Discord open, Robbie Mac, but I'll check Discord right now.
All right, let's test that. Is that any better at all?
Yeah, I'm not hearing echo at all. Well,
oh, okay.
Well, a little bit of echo, I guess, still.
And is this the mic it's using?
We can keep tapping it.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I can hear it. Someone tell me to check my Discord.
Look above.
Why, Robbie Mac? Do I need to know?
What's he saying?
Oh, I'm not sure
Robbie.
I can tell you.
Oh dear.
Okay. Daniel, I want you to look to your left.
What?
Look to your right. That's it.
Okay.
I have no idea what they're up to. But they're up to something.
Oh, I know what they're up to.
Are they getting mug shots of me or something?
I have no idea, but that's what Robbie Mac just asked me to do for it.
Oh,
I
you
know
guys.
there's somebody on the country club that's really good at rendering faces from live stream.
Oh goodness, why did I do this? Something really funny is about to happen. I don't know what, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, Robbie Mac, you can go back in the video
Keep
and
me
watch
posted.
it. You know?
Keep me posted. This is gonna be funny.
Look above and please pass to others. What's this? Okay, so Rover put out a couple of them. What do you choose as your printer and why? Prusa i3, FlashForge, Creator Pro.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say they specialize in a little different things. So the price points on them are about the same, if I'm not mistaken, right? FlashForge Creator Pro is about 900-ish these days, something like that. Could you look that up? I forget because I've only dealt with like used ones.
What, like the Prusa?
Yeah, the Prusa is like 800, 900, right?
Yeah, it's 950 right now.
950. Oof, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've got so much demand for it. I would say there are some pretty simple questions to ask that would determine which one you get because they're specialized for little different things. Now, the Prusa original Mark II, Mark IIs, or Mark III even now is a very feature. Let's get more features, type of printer. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got all the tricks. It's got all the auto calibration stuff. It's got, the heated bed with all the crazy points in it. It's got the probes. It's got a probe with temperature correction, for goodness sake. I mean, that's awesome. But
$900.
$900. Yeah. Okay, so they're in the same price bracket, really. This is kind of comparing apples to apples here. Like these two printers they would both be in the running if you had, say, $1,000 to spend. These would be two of your top picks. Now, the FlashForge Creator Pro has a dual extruder, which is something the Prusa cannot do. However, dual extrusion with that setup is pretty difficult to do. This isn't a single block piece that's really easy to deal with, like say the E3D Chimera. This isn't a single nozzle purge setup like the Cyclops. This isn't a splitter in out, all that stuff like the Prusa MMU. These are two nozzles set side by side, and getting them exactly matched vertically is kind of tricky sometimes. So the Flash Forge, if you're an advanced user, yeah, you can do dual material on it, which is automatically something that the Prusa, you're going to need an expensive upgrade kit to do that on the Prusa. So right now, that's something in favor of the Flash Forge if you are a advanced user. That said, a lot of people don't really bother using the dual nozzles. Like some people just take that extra motor out just so you have less weight. Also, the Flash Forge is enclosed, and it is very, very rigid. It is a nicely squared frame. There's no real need for auto calibration, honestly. Jacob has a whole bunch. Grant has a whole bunch. They use them in their farms. Yeah, you remember seeing some of those Flash Forges, like when you were in the hotel room with us?
Yeah, I remember seeing the three of them laying there on the floor.
They're monsters. I mean, really, like the frame rigidity on them is good. It's an old design. Whereas the Prusa is feature-based, like, let's get new stuff. The Flash Forges really fundamentally haven't changed in like 3-4 years, really.
Did you see what came in the Daniel's well, I know that he probably showed you Daniel, but did Jacob send you the picture of all the new printers he got?
Yeah, I saw those.
All those weren't those the Flash Forges?
Yep, cool stuff.
I'm jealous now.
They're good for farms. See a little story about the Flash Forges. For example, we brought them with us in a long road trip from Indiana out to Earth in Maryland. And we just chucked them in the van. It's bouncing around in the back. We had Filament sitting on the beds. We had, like they were a mess. We crammed stuff inside. And we took them out, we set them up, and we started printing, and they didn't really need releveling. They benefited from it a little bit. I mean, we were talking things out maybe, 10, 20, 30, 40 microns. But like, you can ship them and set them up, and they still print a first layer. That's, frankly, impressive rigidity, which makes sense. It's a unibody kind of style, and it's very, very stiff. The enclosure aspect also makes them a little better than the Prusa for high warpage materials. So if you only want to print like ABS and ASA, if you only want to print nylons and you only want to print like high shrinkage stuff, you can do that on a Flash Forge better than you can do it on a Prusa. I'm not sure if I would try polycarbonate on a Prusa. Swinging around in the air like that is not really good for it. However, Flash Forges are, ABS and polycarbonate monsters. You get that bed up to temp and the inside of that chamber gets nice and warm, and it'll print that no problem. Yeah, that's basically my rundown of the two. If you're more an advanced user, yeah, go for the Flash Forge. They're basic designs. They're very simple. There's not much to go wrong. And you need X3G files instead of G-code files. So you got to slice things a little differently because they're a MakerBot clone. But they're rock solid. They run a long time. They're very durable. And yeah, they're good for advanced users.
Now, as you know, I've been messing around with a new type of idea. I've been working, and this is open to both of you guys. I've been working with trying a different filament. This is Filamentum, and I printed the Benchy. The Benchy turned out okay, but look at that weirdness that's happening here.
Yeah. What filament was this? Was this their PLA?
Filamentum, PLA.
Okay. Gold happens.
Yeah.
Oh, is it their shiny one, or is it just like the gold colored PLA?
This is their shiny stuff.
Oh, okay.
Now the camera's not.
That's interesting. I see what you're seeing though. Huh. What were your settings on this?
Settings that you've already set up in Cura.
Okay.
Let's see if
yeah.
we can,
Do you have some of that filament too there? That's the Benchy printer?
Yeah, his Benchy looks better than mine.
Okay. Interesting. What's with the bottom? I noticed yours is like chopped off.
I just sliced it short, and I ended up keeping the file.
Okay.
Yeah. But mine became a little bit stringy for some strange reason. Like, it's squishy, but that's only because I went with 10% infill.
What temp were you running on it?
200.
200?
Yeah,
what bed temp?
No, beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was with the 3D fuel.
Hello.
I'm supposed to come pick up the title
Oh yeah. Here.
Just mute that off there. But when he comes back on, or he's muted, rather than have him go, "Oh shoot," you know.
Yeah, I wish I knew where my used sample box was. I could tell you what temperature I tried to write down what temperature I printed the Benchy on when I did it, but I just don't know where that sample box is at the moment.
I got an idea. Hang on. I'm just going to take a few pictures here, guys. This is going directly to Daniel so you can see them. So Daniel will show the pictures if he wants to talk about them. So we have some type of imagery that we can, and I'll tell him, just do the screen share so you can see what we're talking about. I'll bring up my Kira here. So I'm just letting Kira boot up here. God, sometimes I'm wondering if it's better just to switch over to Repetier or to someone else now, because I mean, Kira is very basic, but I've always had issues with the with trying to run Prusia's slicer. Daniel, you're muted, so you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Okay, so anybody wondering about that? I'm just closing up the makerspace, so I'm sitting out here in the open, and sometimes we get people who walk in. Not common, but so. Where were we?
Check Facebook.
Check Facebook.
Yeah, I sent you a few messages on Messenger, which had a few pictures.
Oh, hey, there we go. Very good. That's nice resolution. Now I can see what we're dealing with. Weird.
Yeah.
What are the recommended nozzle temps?
Let's see. According to the package here, which I have right here on my hands, 190 to 210. Bed is at room to 60. Speed is 30 to 90 millimeters. The info is known as Gold Happens.
Okay. Question. What speeds were you running?
I was running it at 60.
Okay. What layer height? 0.2 looks like?
0.2, that's correct.
What extrusion width? Is this the 0.45 that I set up with you?
1.45. This is running. Hang on. Extrusions. Do I have extrusions on here? I don't. This is with all the change settings that we have already. Let me just bring it up on video so you can see what my screen is showing here.
Turn back. There we go.
Share screen. Share that one. Share. Move the chat out of the way. I don't know why my screen's flashing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Oh, I know what to do. Boom. There.
There we go.
That stops it.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at these.
So layer height's at 42. Wall and top and bottom is at 0.45. Wall thickness is at 0.8.
That's odd. It should have to be an even multiple of your wall extrusion width or line width.
Yeah, top layers and bottom layers are set for 3 each.
Yeah, it's weird. Wall thickness is set to 0.8, but you can't get 0.8 by multiplying 0.45. So I wonder what it's doing. Was it doing one perimeter?
I think so.
Not.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Maybe.
Take another look at that model and see. Does it look like it was only doing one perimeter? Looks to me like it might be 2.
You want me to pull out the model inside the? Because the thing is,
you want to reslice it with those settings and kind of do the preview and see what it is.
Sure,
see if we can count it.
In there.
Because I'm curious. I wonder if it did 1 or 2 perimeters.
Looking for it. Where's test? Temp. There's the
Say, Carl, anything new in the comments I should know about?
close file. There we go.
Oh, they're warning you. Your head's going to be on a gnome.
Oh,
Yeah.
A gnome, really? Like the
Yeah,
protopasta gnome, or what?
I think, and I don't know who they're sending it. I know who they're sending it to, so.
Oh,
can't tell you.
that's awesome.
So there it is, right there, the Benchy.
Oh, we should talk after about this. I think I might know who it is.
Now, where would I see parameters inside Cura? Because I'm not really familiar to pull up parameters in Cura, guys.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows, let us know.
What was that?
Perimeters. How do you pull up the perimeters inside Cura?
Cura really wants you to do it in terms of like thickness and not like the number of perimeters, which I think is kind of a shame because it's way easier to do it in terms of just the number of perimeters you have.
You can set it to either or now.
Yeah. They begrudgingly realize that people do like doing it in terms of the number of perimeters. So.
Yeah, I know what Robbie Mac's doing with your head.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Keep me updated. Is this going to be updated in the Country 3D Discord? I want to hop on there maybe and talk to him about it. Ah, dang it.
No, you're not allowed to know about this. I can't tell you.
What are you guys planning?
Ray Mac's probably laughing right now.
This is going to be fun. Yeah, I bet he's laughing his head off. This is great. Oh, this is funny. Well, okay. When will I get to know at least?
Robbie Mac says it's all good, Daniel. He promises, but he's not saying anything other than that.
All right. I love surprises. I just want to know like when I'll know by, you know. Does that make sense?
Since he's finished the work and he has it produced, I will show it to you and you'll be like going, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah. Okay.
So there it is right there. In there. So yeah, 0.8, 0.6 showing up on here in the settings. So
can you go to a layer preview and take a look at what one of those layers looks like? I want to count the number of perimeters.
Layer view. Yeah. Yeah, so layer view is on there right now.
All right, so go to I don't know, just a random layer somewhere in the middle. Zoom way in. Yeah, that's a good one.
How's that? It's for Zoom.
That's excellent. Okay, looks like, yeah, you have two perimeters, and they're slightly different speeds, which is fine. That's good.
Now, could this be it's running too fast for speed travel?
I kind of doubt it. I don't think that should.
Because speed's at 60.
Speed's at 60. I think that should be okay. You know, here's what I'm wondering about. Is there the possibility that you inadvertently clog the nozzle while changing filament? For example, I don't know what your technique for changing is, but like maybe you were really handling the filamentum stuff and you got like finger oils and dirt on it before you put it in. You know, you pulled the old one out, stuck the new one in, and you carried all that dirt in and it clogged it. I don't know. Or perhaps maybe what was the last filament you did in the printer?
Last filament I did in the printer was white filament. And Filaments.ca to print this spool.
Okay.
Which I had to put it on.
What was the temperature of that? That's PLA?
That was at 200.
Yeah, see, if that can melt at 200, then this stuff should be able to flush it out, no problem.
Yeah, and I did flush the nozzle before running it.
Yeah, see, to everybody in the comments, the reason I ask about that is a common problem is if you've got, like, say, ABS in your nozzle, and you cut the filament and you start feeding in PLA, if not all of the ABS is flushed out and there's a little bit left in there, then when you start printing with PLA, it might kind of break loose, smudge down into the nozzle, partly constrict it, and not flow out because it's not at its melting temperature fully. but you know, Ron here knows not to do that. So,
Do I?
But that is a common rookie mistake. Yeah, I did that once.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Ron, if you want, I can walk you through changing that shell to wall line count instead of wall thickness.
Let's do that. You want to show them how to do that? Yeah, I should.
All right. Go up to the top of the screen where it says Preferences.
Yep.
Go ahead and click Preferences. You'll configure Cura.
Yep.
Select Settings.
Settings.
Scroll
Okay.
down till you see Shell.
So I see shell.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on shell right now.
You see where it says Wall Thickness?
Yep, it's already check marked.
Uncheck it, and then check Wall Line Count right below it.
You could uncheck wall thickness. Nice. Okay, now it'll do it entirely by wall line count. That's great.
Okay. Done. Yeah, wall line count was at 2. What are you thinking, Daniel?
Yeah. Try it. Well, set that to 3, enter, and then set it back to 2, enter, just for, you know.
3. There we go.
And does that look okay? Set it back to 2.
Okay. Okay, it's reprocessing. There you go.
Let's make sure. Does that look right? Does it look the same
right.
as it did before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, would triangles be a good mode to use, or should I change to something else for infill?
How many top layers? You've got 0.6 top and bottom thickness, so 3. Yeah, that should be enough. I would personally do 4. I personally do 4 or more, but yeah, if you're doing a draft print, you've only got 2 perimeters.
So should I do 4 and then 4 and change that 6 to 8?
Yep. Yeah, it should automatically. Well,
No, it doesn't. Not in Cura.
okay.
Cura requires you to type it in L manual. There we go.
Yeah, 10% is fine. Triangle infill is fine. Because really the infill isn't doing much other than just like plugging a little bit of support underneath the top layers.
And Ron, you can go in and uncheck that top and bottom thickness so you don't have to change that every time too.
Oh, really? Okay. Preference configure. See, this is Daniel's settings that he has reset up in here because he was having lots of issues with the printer when he had it.
Yeah, top bottom thickness. Scratch that out. Number of top layers, number of bottom layers. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, close. Like I said, this is Daniel's magic juice I'm using.
Well, doesn't look all that magic. There's no magic here, only science. Science. So, let's look at the hardware here. Ooh, is this the new Cura update? Is that a nozzle hovering over the printer?
No, that's the stack.
That's
I'm looking at the comments here. Minnesota makers telling you be afraid, be very afraid.
Of the gnome thing. Be very afraid. This is going to be interesting.
Well, I know what's going on, so I can't tell him anything. Sorry, guys. Yeah, because you look at it, there's the stack right there. Oh, man, it is showing the nozzle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool preview.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
It's like an E3D style nozzle.
I guess.
It's like an Ultimaker.
Yeah, if you hit the little play icon up there underneath the temperature bar or whatever you want.
Oh, yeah, there it goes.
That's nice. That's a really great feature. That must be new. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, I've been using this to help with building one of my maker coins, so that's been helpful. Just, build up.
Okay. I have an idea. So you know how the minimum layer time kicks in at 2 different points? It kicks in on the smokestack, of course, but it also kicks in when you have a really small cross section, specifically the midpoint of the cabin. scroll the layers all the way up so you can look at all of them. So here the speeds and colors are correlated. You see how there's that blue stripe in the middle of the cabin?
Yep.
That shows that your speeds have dropped all the way down to 10 millimeters per second.
Okay.
Which lets you get plenty of cooling time in, right? But let's look at where that zone is on the actual printed part. Because if it were speed related, well, that part is working at like 10 millimeters per second, so clearly it wouldn't have the issue there.
Yeah.
So if we look at the part and the problem is fixed there, then yeah, it's speed related. If it's not fixed there, then, well, it looks like it was something else.
Well, according to this, green, it would be what?
I think.
I love how it doesn't give me that information.
Was it 60?
It's set at 60 right now.
Okay.
Would reducing the speed be a good idea?
It looked like bright green on the inner perimeter, and the outer one is a little duller green, so a little more towards blue. I think that was 50, might be what we set it to. Let's see.
Traction speed set for 60. 50.
Well, this is funny, but it looks like that section of the print is a little better, but not very good still. There's still issues.
Yeah.
So, I have some questions.
What are you recommending for minimum layer time?
That's a good question. That depends very heavily on the machine. You know, how much cooling you've got. It depends very heavily on the filaments. You know, how prone it is to warping up. What your internal stresses are like. Whether the filament's got a lot of die swell. If it does, it'll be more prone to that than not. So, I would change the. I wouldn't change the minimum layer time specifically. I recommend about 30 seconds or less, maybe 20 seconds. 20 seconds is plenty of time for filament to cool. But in this case, I would change the minimum speed you get down to. 10 millimeters per second is really slow. I would change that up to like 15, 20, somewhere in there. Really, going 10 millimeters per second, that's just crawling.
That'd be in speed, right?
Yep, that'd be under the speed section.
Okay, let me pull that up then.
Or perhaps cooling. I'm not that familiar with that section of Kira.
Settings, let's go into speed. Shell. Infill. Material. Speed, here we go.
Yeah.
So
check all those. Infill speed, wall speed, outer speed, inner wall speed. We want all those.
Yep. Okay, so we want all those to show. Okay.
Top, bottom speed, support speed. Yeah, those. It's useful to have all the speeds available to you.
Okay, so we have all that brought up. Do you need top surface speed, bottom?
Yeah, check those too. Those are really handy. For instance, if you're printing with a filament that is very finicky on sticking to whatever you've got on the bed, you can just slow your bottom layer down so it really melts in there nice. And then print the rest of it at normal speed. Yeah, support speed is also handy because if you're printing, say, a really small model with very delicate supports, and you find that you're knocking them over, you can lower that a little bit and just keep the forces down, you know.
You want prime tower speed also.
Yeah, prime tower doesn't really matter so much.
Do we need initial layer speed?
Yes.
And we're going to want those two.
Script brim speed, that doesn't matter as much. Maximum Z speed. Okay, that should be good.
Infill acceleration, wall acceleration?
No, those should all inherit. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. We're looking for the cooling, the minimum layer time, remember. So keep going.
Cooling's under its own thing.
I think minimum layer time might be under cooling. That's what it is in Slice 3R. S3 is a little different, Cure's a little different, you know. They're all different.
Dual extrusion, which we don't have. Special moves, Don't need that. I know it has its own section for cooling. Is it? It used to have a section just for cooling. Hang on a second here.
Sorry about that, guys. But
problem.
tomorrow is first day of school, and I apparently have homework before the first day of school, so I got to let you guys go.
Oh
Okay, well,
boy.
nice to have you on, Carl. Have fun at school tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure my daughter will have a blast. First day of high school. She's not looking forward to it.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's a big change. Well, good
Yeah.
luck to her.
Take it easy, guys.
Thanks for staying on, man.
See ya. All
So,
right,
okay,
Ron.
we're
Go
going-
to the filter up top. Search through the settings. Just type in minimum.
Well, I just pulled up the cooling information right now. So we have fan speed, we have regular fan speed.
Here you go.
maximum
Minimum
fan
layer
speed,
time, minimum speed. Click both of
layer
those.
time, minimum speed. Okay.
Close. So those should be
You
under
want
your
regular
cooling
fan
section
speed at
now.
height and regular fan speed at layer? There's initial fan speed. I'm going to turn on
Yes.
because I know initial fan speed.
Do layer instead of height.
Layer instead of height. Okay.
Yeah. So what this is commonly used for is your fan will be off during the first layer so that you're allowing it to spend lots of time melting into the bottom layer. And then on layer 2 or 3, somewhere in there, then you turn it on. I usually turn it on layer 3.
So here's what we have right now.
Initial layer speed. All right, and scroll down.
Sure.
Here you go. Minimum layer time, 10 seconds. Let's raise that to like 15.
Minimum layer time? Where are you seeing that one?
Yeah. Down. Yeah.
Oh, minimum layer time 10.
Raise that to like 15. But then raise the minimum speed also to 15, just so it,
Evens out, yeah.
Yeah, it evens out.
Initial fan speed is at 0%.
Yep, that's good.
Okay. And it doesn't kick on. It says fan speed at layer 2. It just says, sorry, regular fan speed at layer, it's set for 2.
That's good.
We want that higher or no?
You could do 3.
3?
Layer 3 helps a little bit. Yeah.
That just allows it to stick better, right?
Yep. That was the first 2 layers. The one on the bed and then the one that's most directly coupled to the bed are both fully like stress relieved.
Now, do we want the regular speed to be at 100%?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All the rest of the settings are good.
Maximum to be at 100% at least, for sure, but...
Well, PLA generally doesn't mind a lot of cooling, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. Next up. Do you have the printer handy?
What do you mean?
Like, is it near you? Because I wanna test something.
It's not near me, no.
Okay, that's all right.
in
I just
another
want to know
room.
what happens if you do a cold pull, or what happens if you just do like a manual extrusion through the nozzle to check how much, how clean it is coming out, in case it's a partial clog.
It's coming out clean. Like, doesn't seem to be any partial clog from what I can tell. Nothing else is coming out of it.
No bubbles, no dips. It's just smooth. Just.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have calipers handy?
I do.
Okay. Would you mind? Here we go. Getting a reading on that filament diameter.
Yep.
Because I'm curious about what that filament diameter is.
Oh. Well, it's 1.75 is what my printer can only run.
Well,
Yeah.
nominal, but it's not going to be exactly 1.5. Bet
Oh,
you
I know
$100.
that.
Yeah. What does it look like? I should screenshot this right now.
Dealing with 1.72.
All right.
Which I do have the diameter set for 1.73.
Yeah. Well, even if it were under extrusion, I don't think it would be that far. You know, that little of a difference isn't going to kill this by that much. Yeah, that's weird. I still suspect there's a little bit of a partial clog. I would check the extruder drive gear. I'd check everything in the extrusion system, make sure there's no skipping going on. I would check the rigidity of the extruder. I would check the spring. I would check, you know, the teeth in the drive gear, all that stuff. You know what I mean? It just kind of looks like an extrusion problem. It just looks like a messy extrusion. It's weird.
Yeah. I'll run the filament purge through it again.
Yeah, do that. Do you have any of that 1.75 purge filament?
Do I?
That stuff was...
No, I don't have enough of that stuff.
Yeah. Run a little snippet of that through. That'll help.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to probably do. More.
Maybe try a cold pull too, though. Those can be helpful.
I did do a cold pull, and nothing was coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would just run a chunk of that cleaning filament. Yeah. See what comes out. Who knows?
Yeah, clean out the nozzle just to make sure there's nothing else in there.
Yeah. If nothing else, it'll just rule that out as a potential cause.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, you've used this stuff and you've seen it in action. Can you explain to the fabulous people that are watching, how good is this stuff that you've, in your opinion, now that you've used it?
Yeah. Well, okay. I didn't used to think that purge filament was really, I don't know, useful, necessary. I don't know what I would say. Because, I mean, after all, if you're just switching from one type of PLA to another type of PLA, you know, no problem there. If you're switching from a low temp to a high temp, like PLA to ABS, you know, no problem. You know, if you bump the temp, the PLA will be so liquid it'll all come out. Or the other way around, if you're switching from like ABS to PLA, you know, do a cold pull, it'll all come out well. Sometimes you miss a little bit in a cold pull. Sometimes you get junk in there that is very persistent, and a cold pull won't pull it out because it's maybe adhering better to the insides of the nozzle than it does to plastic. You get that sometimes with oil smears. You get that with certain, you know, dust, grime type stuff. They tend to collect in a little nook or cranny, and the plastic will just kind of spiral over the surface and not really get in there and dig it out during a cold pull. So this is where the cleaning filament is actually pretty nice. Instead of leaving all that junk in there and risking it, you know, coming out during a filament, you might get this sometimes if you're doing a print in like white or clear filament. After printing something colored, you notice little bits of color will occasionally make their way out in the print. You're like, bang, I thought I got all that out. Well, there can be a little bit hiding up inside the nozzle in nooks and crannies, you know, stuck in the walls and whatnot. Cleaning filament is very, very sticky to a lot of different types of plastics and a lot of additives. It'll stick to grease better, it'll stick to dust better, it'll stick to tarnish type stuff better. And when you run a section of that through the nozzle, it's generally very low viscosity, and it'll get into all those little pores. A common one is where the nozzle and the heat break meet. Both have a chamfer on them, and those two chamfers together will leave a little bit of a little, you know, ring, and stuff can tend to collect in there. That's the most common spot. But this stuff will tend to flow and scrape that out and carry that all out of the bottom. Much better than, you know, just running more PLA through or whatever. Yeah. And if you combine it with a cold pull, that will leave your nozzle squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. You know, okay. if you're running, sorry, one more thing. If you're running like a black filament and then you want to do like a clear filament afterwards, I would definitely use some of this stuff, because you don't want to risk, like, you know, a little bit of black still staying in there and then ending up in your print. It might not clog your nozzle or anything if you're switching from like black PLA to white PLA, but it will show up and your prints won't look as good. So a little snippet of this can definitely help you out there.
Okay, let's throw another monkey wrench into this. Now, you've when What was I going to say? Oh, crap. Just had a brain fart. Sorry. Don't do it, Daniel. Oh, no, he's doing it. No, what I was going to say is dealing with any type of printing itself. Now, you've messed with a lot of stuff, and you've seen a lot of printers, and you know what printers are which and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
What is your thoughts about maker boxes? You know, like getting the maker box or getting a UFO box.
The Geek Box or the Filament,
what's your
Filament
thoughts about
collections, stuff like that. Oh yeah. Well, honestly, I've never done a subscription type box before because, well, up until very recently, I was a poor college student, and while I did a lot of printing, it was normally on a project by project basis, and I didn't have enough disposable income to just buy interesting stuff just for the sake of it being interesting. If I bought a filament, it was for a specific purpose. One time I bought some PLA PHA because I was testing flow rate stuff. It's I had never used it before and I needed to try some. And I had a project in mind for that specific, more impact resistant PLA. Now, if it was just oh, that looks like an interesting thing, I'll sign up. I didn't have the money to do that, so I wouldn't have done that. So a lot of you guys out there have been getting these things for far longer than I, have even known they were a thing. So that's not really my area of expertise. And I haven't really looked into them as much as a lot of you guys have. So all I can offer on this is two main pieces of advice. One, what's the one was it Maker Box, the one that printed solid bot?
Yes.
Is that the name of that one? That one's cool. When you get those little sample coils of exotic filaments, that is a really fun way. I walked away from Murph and Irv with coils of just various oddball filaments. That's a really fun way to try different stuff. And if you print little sample test chips of that stuff and you have them on hand, I did get a commission out of this. If somebody asks you man, I need this thing printed, but I wish I had a filament then they list some weird property, it's got to look really chalky, what? I suppose you could use this stone-like filament, or maybe they say maybe it's an engineering thing. I need something that can dissipate ESD. You've electrostatic discharge. You go oh, I had a little sample of that. I printed with that once. I know the settings. I feel comfortable buying a spool of it and doing a commission. So it can be just a neat way to get a bunch more samples under your belt while you're also getting some daily driver filament to just print the stuff you use around the house.
Okay. I guess that answers the question.
Yep. One other thing, right? Yep. I would steer clear of Geekbox. I don't know about the UFO box much yet, but I do know enough about Maker Geeks that I would say if you're a new customer, maybe steer clear of that. They have an odd track record on consistency. They have a handful of customers that get really, really, really good support, and they not always, but they tend to be fairly vocal about it. You'll see this pop up on Reddit or in one of the Facebook groups, and somebody say, "Oh man, I had an issue with my Maker Geek box."
About Maker Geek. They're in a lot of wet water right now. They're in a lot of hot water right now.
They sure are. And somebody will say, "Man, I canceled this thing, and I'm still getting charged for it. I got charged for 2 months, and I haven't even seen either of them." It's and then somebody will crawl out of the woodwork and go, "Well, but I've been ordering that box for the past year and a half, and they've never missed one for me." And oh,
this is from.
It's spotty. It's hit or miss. I wouldn't risk my money with them. I wouldn't at this stage until they get their act cleaned up on other people. I would save my own money. There are competitors out there right now that offer the same sort of thing, so I would go with one of those instead of Maker Geeks for now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to share something with you guys. As you guys can see on my screen, it's flashing again. Jesus. Don't know why my card's acting up, but it's been doing this. So it says, this is from, I retweeted this, so it's on my Twitter if you guys want to try to find it. This is from Maker Noob. He says, "Hey, Maker Geeks, here to explain. I've received at least 5 more type of communications, and naturally, they need to be answered. Here it says, "Hi, my name is blank. I am one of your frequent YouTube viewers, and I just want to tell you about my experience with Maker Geeks and what I found out after visiting the Better Business Bureau, or that's known as the BBB. Well, after ordering 6 rolls of their rapid high temperature PLA in the first week of June and waiting 2.5 months and 30 emails unanswered later, I had to contact the BBB. Once I was
That's
on their
unfortunately
website,
not an uncommon thing.
Yep.
There have been many cases of people like that. They just communications drop off the face of the earth, and they're like, "What do I do now? You know, they have my money, but I don't have my filament." But
yeah. Well, it says once I was on the BBB website. Let's see. I pulled up Maker Geeks company and realized I was not the only person that got scammed. 42 complaints in 1 year. And all the stories are very similar to mine. One is a school that never received their what they ordered, and it's almost 6 months to resolve that order. I don't know. I don't work for them in any way, but maybe since you are part of the 3D community, you can help me spread the word about people like, me. You have the YouTube following that I do not. I would like to ask you to research and maybe bring it up to viewers to the same, mistakes I made. And Joel tweeted out
yeah, has
about
Maker
it too,
Geeks
because Joel
responded
was
to any
another
of
one that got it.
these tweets here?
Oh, you want to see the responses?
Yeah.
Someone said,
Yeah.
"Good thing Matter Hackers is an option."
Yeah, Dave Gaylord. Yeah.
Can I get an amen?
What is the? Wait, I'm just curious to see if Maker Geeks responded to anything.
I say they also. I also got this email. So someone else, Laura Reed. I don't know what she does.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to stop subscription with them. Calvin Witt said, "I bet I did as much as I." Now we had Jatman answer. Maker Geeks has been a shady company for at least 15 on my counts from experience and reading. No idea how they're still in business in the USA.
Yeah. So put things in perspective. 42 complaints in a year registered with the Better Business Bureau. That's almost weekly.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, think about it that way. And you better believe that not every single one of the issues is going to get sent to the BBB, right? I bet it's more than weekly. That's
apparently
not
Timothy
a good track record.
Apparently Timothy got screwed by them too. Timothy Hoagland, aka 3D TH Studios, said, "This is not new. I have been screwed by them, and so has Top Hat Waffle. Filament constantly out of spec, selling stock that they don't have, months of waiting, terrible support, and their PLA always clogs. Don't buy from them. I've been very happy with Printed Solid's daily PLA."
Yeah. I have heard very good things about the daily PLA too. I tried a beta roll with that and was quite impressed. Yeah, daily PLA by Printed Solid is a good option at this point, since Hatchbox is a bit harder to get a hold of and whatnot. But going back up to that, being out of spec and the filament clogs, I think what was happening was they made an attempt, Maker Geeks did, to try and meet their, increased demand. And I think they rushed stuff, and they possibly made some batches that were out of spec, just because they're just trying to push. I look at this one here. What is this? 2.45 millimeter chunk. There is no way that is going to fit through a 2 millimeter bone. That should not be coming out of a filament line. That is unacceptable. But that's not the common experience with them. Most people, have fine filament, but just like the customer service, it's spotty. It's like a box of chocolates.
How about
what
this?
You're gonna get,
Maker series filament from them. This is rated for 1.75. I can tell on the picture it's coming out at 2.45 with caliber.
Yeah. You can't ship that. That's
what
garbage.
they're shipping out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're using Amazon to ship this stuff out. So. sad.
Yeah.
And there's thousands of people that are replying to this saying they've been screwed too.
Did Maker Geeks respond anywhere in here? I'm not
Nope.
seeing any responses from them.
Let's go to Maker Geeks.
Go to their Twitter. I wanna see
Twitter.
what their Twitter's like.
Last tweet was August 15th. And they're just reposting stuff.
Maybe they're just kind of laying low for a while. I don't know.
Since
Yeah.
God, here it is. However you shop at Maker Geeks, your time is running out. Save 35% on everything with us. Christmas in July sale. That's it.
A 35% off coupon is pretty good, but not on filament that you don't have in stock, but say is in stock. You know, they have not been doing a good job with inventory management historically. Like Jetman noted, that's been going on for a couple of years. So.
Here's something that really scares me, okay? This is the tweet right here. It says, I'll be quick about this one. The July 3D Geek Box. Well, it's a monster and items inside are worth more than $100. If you want to remember, why don't you have an active subscription? Let's look at the picture. They're showing you how, Jesus Christ.
It's $100 worth of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a joke. Minimize. So I'm going to go back to my screen.
Ooh, hang on. Let's look at the comments. I haven't been keeping up with the comments. So.
Okay. So basically nothing's been said yet. But Minnesota took off. So we understand Minnesota.
Yeah.
Thanks for being at the feed. But yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of potential there. They got into the market at a good time. They have pretty competitive prices. They have nice HDPLA. I mean, I've seen some prints with it, and like when it's in spec, it prints really nice. You know, but if it's not in spec, if it's coming out at 2.45 millimeters diameter, and you're trying to cram that to a 2 millimeter bone tube, it's not going to fit. you can't ship that. That's not acceptable.
Especially if you're trying to put it through Capricorn tubing.
Yeah, 1.9 millimeters, but that's not going to fit either. Yeah, that's really not going to fit. Yeah, I've been rooting for them to get their act together and get the customer service issues cleaned up, because I want to see another U.S. supplier that is, you know, that's in the game, has a clear name, and is producing good filament at competitive prices, so we can, you know, have more competition all around. As a consumer, I like competition because it keeps prices low and it keeps people innovating, right? But right now, they're not really innovating. They're kind of sitting where they are and not really meeting a lot of customers' needs. You know, a more than weekly issue, I don't know. I can't recommend their box, not until issues like that get sorted out. It's been going on for a long time, guys.
Yeah, when I saw that, I wanted to bring that up because I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, I hope they get this stuff sorted out. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I hope they go out of business. And no, I mean, come on.
No one's saying that though.
Yeah, not here, luckily. Yeah, I hope
I would like to see them. I would like to see them go not out of business, but be very hurt.
Yes, I would like to see them taught a little lesson.
Yeah,
and then get back in and learn some lessons and
come back out, you know, shooting on all 10 cylinders, you know.
Yeah, firing on all cylinders. That would be nice. I want to see these complaints stop. That's just unprofessional, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have a couple other boxes out there. There's the filler box that Filament.ca is running. So if you guys want to try them out, you know.
I haven't looked at that
yet.
We
have a code down and below, but
I haven't looked at that yet, so I should.
Yeah,
I should get the lowdown on that.
I'll bring it up for you guys.
What's the shipping like to me?
Shipping is I think a little expensive on the expensive side for the U.S. guys, but let me have a look.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, let me bring them up. Okay, sharing screen now. Share that one. Share. There we go. Your color fab source. Right now, like I was telling everybody about the filament right now, they don't. They're Eco-Feel PLA.
Oh yeah.
They got it back in. Yay!
Econofill. Oh, good.
Yeah, they got the Econofill back.
I like that stuff.
Oh, that stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
And here's the sample package. If you guys are looking for samples,
Dude.
you get 22 samples, 1.75 of PLA, ABS, and PET-G for $21.95.
Okay, question. Is there enough of each one of those to print a Benchy?
Probably.
Because Benchy is kind of my test chip. I don't know what you guys all use out there, but I like to print a little Benchy, 3D Benchy, in all my filaments that I use.
Come on.
Because
the Benchy.
It's not flat, so it gives you an example of seeing what the walls are like. It's got some straight walls, it's got some small details, it's got some curving smooth walls. So a Benchy is a more realistic test chip for showing what a filament looks like in real life. I find, anyway. So it would be fun to have a bunch of these, so I could just print a Benchy in all those.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling down here to view up
it's
to the.
big enough.
So they accept PayPal. So if you guys have PayPal accounts, they accept that too.
Yes, sir.
And as you can see, guys, these are prints that other people have done. They get uploaded from their Instagram and gets posted on their main page. So
nice prints. What's that cool? The Lego Bitty figure there. I want to see that. What's that?
Closer.
Holy. Yeah, that is.
That was down the elixir.
Gold Rush. I gotta get some of that.
Oh,
that's a nice filament. Oh man,
it's gorgeous stuff. Yeah, and stuff that's made on their PLA, they post it. You know, it was made of the Econofill PLA.
It's good. Nice consistent surface texture on that.
Yeah. Well, that's Alex 3D Maker. He's
okay. Now it's odd that. Sorry to bring this back to the print issues. It's odd that you're having these issues with the Filamentum because, in my experience, which is only 2 different spools of Filamentum, so granted not that much, that stuff melts like butter. It just comes out so smooth. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe I got turned up a little bit more.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe on my printer.
It's just got more additives, and maybe it's got plasticizers and whatnot to make sure that all the sparkles work. I don't know. It wouldn't hurt. Turn it up to 205, 210, but I'm sure there's something else going on too.
Yeah, have you heard of Kodak coming out with their own filament?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to
Sounds
try
like you got a
it,
train coming in behind you.
Yep. Oh, you can hear that? Yeah, we're right next to railroad tracks.
Here it is, Filabox. So your monthly filament 3D fix.
Yeah. Okay, how much?
So for the 1 kilo a month of unknown filament, $19.95.
All right.
You want ABS, PET-G stuff. Yeah. Now, if I can do surprise me, you get a rule of, you get like different ones. You can get PLA only, ABS only, PET-G only.
That's cool.
PLA
I kind of like
and
the
ABS.
surprise me option. Just keep it
PLA
going.
and PET-G only.
Although if it were up to, well, most of what I print, especially for commissions, is PLA and PETG. But
that's 8 kilos a month.
Oof.
I don't think I need 8
much?
kilos.
How much does that come to?
It's $19.95 a subscription.
For a single spool. Click the 8 kilograms per month one. I want to see how much that costs.
$159.95.
Okay. So same price.
That'd be
What about
probably
2
good
kilograms per month?
for your maker place.
Yeah. What about 2 kilograms per month? How much does that cost?
$39.95 a month.
So same per kilogram. What happens? Can you throw in a specialty sample? Can you like have a kilogram of normal stuff and then throw in a specialty sample per month? See, that's what I would like to do if I had one of these subscription boxes. I would want to get, a full spool of just some basic daily driver you know, just no frills, like PLA, ABR, BATG. And I would like to get a little spool of the funky stuff, you know, to kind
Well,
of.
you get specialty spool
Yeah.
for $44.95 a month.
Yeah.
Now I have some of that stuff. Let me pull it out for you and show it to you.
So the specialty spools, is that like Elixir, probably Protopasta, you know, some of their funky composites, that sort of thing. So. Ooh, what is this? All right. Well,
Sorry
what do
about
we
that.
have here? What's this spool here?
This is from a future.
Oh, for future. How was that packaged? Was the vacuum seal good?
Pardon me?
Was the vacuum seal in that good?
Yeah, it was fully wrapped up and everything else.
Good, good. Yeah, it's important.
It's just in a Ziploc bag, but I'm gonna get another bag for it later. But this is it right here. HD glass. PET G.
Huh.
This
So,
can be
Is that milky? I can't quite tell in the camera. Or is that like a bright, bright white?
foggy.
It's foggy. Okay.
Yeah, it's a clear filament.
All right.
PET G. This stuff cost me a bundle. This was about $50.
Yeah, it's not a cheap filament. That's premium tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This cost me a bundle, and I like it. I only have one problem though.
What's that?
I got it printing once, and I've never been able to get it printing back again.
Oh wow, why?
Yeah.
What happened while it was printing?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with my printer, but all of a sudden, PET G just not been nice on it. But
It's got gremlins, man.
well,
You have an
we know
example
it's
of one of
already.
the.
We know what's wrong with that printer. We've already kind of decided
Yeah.
we need to redo the firmware on it.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah, you do.
that's going to be probably next Saturday, Sunday. We might just have to do that.
Sure. That'd be fun.
I'll pull it all out, and the section where there's all this junk, I'll set it
dear.
up there.
Yeah.
The only reason this is all out, we were talking about last night. We were talking about this stupid device.
Magic Jack Plus.
Yes.
What is that?
Magic Jack is a company that allows you to use. You sign up for their service and you can get a phone line out, but it uses only the internet to produce the phone line.
Huh. That's cool.
It's questionable.
One of those things that's cool in theory, but the actual implementation is.
No, it works. It really does work. I'm not
Okay.
sure about how much bandwidth
Okay.
it uses, though. So if you're on a capped service,
Probably not a good idea unless you have some numbers on it.
at least you can use it in the U.S. and Canada and not get charged anything. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
And
That's
it'll
nice.
also link up to your cell phone.
Wait,
So you
really?
download the app and you log into their app. You can use data on your cell phone.
That's cool.
A little bit of bonus.
Can you do that on Wi-Fi? Like, you know, if you have your cell phone and you're on a Wi-Fi connection, it can do via Wi-Fi. That's really cool.
And also do it while you're out and about, too.
Yeah. The Magic Box was called. That's pretty neat. Yeah. So what's your hesitation with that?
There's another one.
You kind of made a face. Ooh, color fat specials. What's this a special?
Wood.
Box of? Yeah. First specialty filament I ever got was their OG, you know, original wood fill.
I can't wait to
got
play
a
with wood fill.
pack
I've
from
not
them.
played with it yet, but I hear it's bad on nozzles. Is that true or no?
It depends. It really depends. Some wood fill appears to be scrapey. You know what I mean? It's splintery and it kind of scrubs down brass nozzles a little bit. Not nearly as bad as like glow in the dark, which is, you know, filled with rocks, or carbon fiber, which, you know, little carbon needles zipping through your nozzle. That'll scrape it up.
Yeah, I have even carbon fiber here.
Yeah, I have heard it is, but I haven't seen too much of an issue. But I would keep an eye out for it anyway.
Yeah. I think if I ran it like once or a little bit through it, it shouldn't
Yeah, you'll be
cause any
fine.
problems.
It shouldn't, you know, just a couple prints. Yeah, no, it won't be an issue.
Let me go grab a sample bag. Hang on.
Sure.
Yes.
I'll talk
Filament
while you're gone.
dossier gives everything.
Yeah, that's good. I know there were a lot of people in Canada kind of complaining about that for a while. Just like, how come all you U.S. people have, so many cool filaments? You've got local companies, you've got distributors, you've got all this stuff in Canada. We got nothing. We have to pay all these import prices. So it is kind of nice to see, people stepping up and getting in the filament game up there too. So, all right, he's back. What do you have for us?
Yeah. So, let me minimize this so I can see what everybody's chatting about. Okay, no one's chatting to us. Thank you, people. Come on, talk.
Talk back to us. Talk
yes,
back.
we don't
talk
know
back.
what you're thinking.
Only time you're ever going to be like told to talk back more, right?
No, I tell them to talk back any time of the day. So, anyways, this is their wood natural. So this is
What's the brand?
it just says it's their brand.
Oh, it's filaments.ca brand.
Yeah. This is bamboo wood, from what I've been told.
Interesting. I didn't know there was a self-branded wood fill there.
Yeah, they have their self-branded wood fill. They also have their own PET G. This is their clear glass. This is fully transparent.
So a little note on that. PET, polyethylene terephthalate, is pretty easy to copolymerize. People will mix in all sorts of other monomers into that. That's where you get PETG, which has glycol monomers added into the mix. You've got PETT, just another copolymer thrown in. You've got very, very many copolyesters in that family. Now, you can change by tinkering with the ratios of those monomers and whatnot, how clear the filament comes out. I think I heard like T-glace, like Tallman's clear, I think that might be PETT, not PETG. Not sure, but regardless, it's in the PET family and it'll print a lot like PETG, although technically a lot of these like super clear filaments aren't exactly PETG. But then again, none of the filaments we're printing are really pure plastic anyways. We've always got some mix-ins into the resins, so just a little funny trivia bit.
Well, then here, let's ask a different question then. If something is food safe, is it really food safe? I have a feeling you like this question a lot.
I get this question a lot. It's like, all right, we get to dig in here. This is a good one. That's a really good question. This is fun. Okay, so no, it is not possible to print something that will be considered by a regulating body of some kind to be food safe.
So why does the FDA put their FDA compliance sticker on it?
That's the thing. What you're seeing on there is, if you read the fine print about what is FDA compliance on all these filaments, even in like smaller companies, about what is FDA compliant, it's the base resins. It's really not that hard to get your hands on FDA compliant base resin. It's a little more expensive, yeah, but like, you can get pellets from the companies that are certified. The materials are tracked. Everything is, up to par. Yeah, that no problem. It's totally FDA compliant there. You can even get like compliant ABS resins, which a lot of people think is like, super toxic. Well, if you have the right additives and everything in there and the processing is done right, it can be food safe too. Where you run into problems is the extrusion of it.
Okay.
If you want to have filament that is food safe, or rather FDA approved for like intermittent food contact or continuous food contact, different things like that. What you're going to need to do is you're going to have a facility that has to basically be a clean room. You have to be able to eat off of every surface in that thing. The floor, the walls, the ceiling, I don't care. Everything in there has to be clean enough to lick, okay? I think about my average, like, snippet into the window of the world of printing filament. It's dirty, it's nasty, it's not clean. You can't lick the floor. It's going to get you sick. That is not an environment that you can produce food safe filament in.
Okay.
You can put food safe resin in, but you can't produce food safe filament. You can't call it food safe. You can note that the resin used is food safe, but you can't call it food safe legally. Now that said, I don't know what Form Futura is doing. Maybe they spent like $50,000 or something, and they have all, spick and spans, stainless steel, everything, and everything is scrubbed out according to FDA schedules. It's expensive. Like, geez, it's expensive. If they did go to all that length to make filament that was actually food safe, I would expect them to put a higher price tag on it, like double higher, because you've got probably $50,000 worth of extra stuff to go through and a lot of paperwork. Man, it's a lot of red tape. So I don't know. I doubt the filament is actually technically legally food safe, but having that sticker there is helpful for you to know, okay, there's nothing like super toxic in this, okay? The colorant in it isn't going to kill you. That at least is a known thing.
This is interesting information they put on the back of the box, okay?
Yep.
Use within 12 months of purchase. Well, okay, I can understand that part.
Yeah, moisture absorption.
Keep away from UV light.
Yep, degradation.
We recommend that you store your filament with the provided packet of silica gel, partially if it's not used for an extended period of time. Well, yeah, it's that right now.
Got to keep the moisture out of it.
Last but not least, here's the safety guidelines. And one of the lines it says right here, avoid contact between material and food.
There you go. Yep. So what that means is food safe resin, not a food safe extrusion line. So the resin pellets are sourced fine. They're food safe. There's nothing toxic in the plastic, but the processing is complicated, messy, and as such, you can't legally trace back and say, yeah, it's food safe. The real tricky part of this is where the buyer comes in. Suppose you wanted to 3D print some utensils or something. What you would need to do is get the FDA to certify your printer, all of the oils that you use in your printer, all the lubricants. You need to certify everything in your extrusion system, everything that comes in contact with the filament, the teeth and the drive gear. You have to be able to trace that back to the factory where that came from. You have to know where your nozzles came from. You have to know what went in those, what kind of drill. Yes, everything. And you got to know that the room that it's being printed in meets their standards for particulates in the air, germs, whatever. It's a lot of stuff that goes into that. And you would have to have a certificate. So that's expensive. Do you want to spend tens of thousands of dollars for that? I don't know.
Okay, so then why would you want to buy the filament that is food safe?
A couple things. So there's a difference between food safe in the legal sense, meaning you're producing something commercially for somebody else to use, and you covered your own butt so they can't sue you. And what I would call food smart. Can you print a one-off, coffee cup for you or utensils or whatever? Yeah, sure. Will it kill you? Probably not, really. If your extrusion system is clean and, you know that the resin in that filament is fine, you know that your nozzle doesn't have any, carcinogenic junk in there because you cleaned it out. You did a cold pull, you ran the cleaning filaments, you did another cold pull, all that stuff. There's no, oil getting dripped into your prints, whatever. You're confident in your print quality, and you know that your own printer is clean. Yeah, you could totally make stuff that you could eat off of, and be confident that it won't poison you. But it is not legally sure enough. You can't know with absolute legal certainty and be able to point to that entire sourcing and say, yeah, this isn't what poisoned the defendant over here who says that he got food poisoning from my 3D printed coffee cup. I can't prove that my coffee cup didn't do it. You can't. Unless you want to go to all the trouble of certifying everything, which, you better have 50,000 plus to do that.
Yep.
To make some coffee cups, not worth it.
No. But
not worth
the
it.
idea is I was thinking to myself, well, what if I wanted to prototype, say, a bottle or something like that?
Yeah, you could totally do it. Just be smart about it.
Yeah.
Just be smart. It might not be food safe in the legal sense, meaning it's held to the tight standards that mean you can't get sued. But you can be smart about it. You could do it dumb or you could do it smart. If you want to print a water bottle, sure, you can. That's your own health. And you can take reasonable precautions and make sure that, yeah, it won't kill you. So if you were to print a water bottle, yeah, go ahead, use stuff with resins that are food safe. Use something from a reputable supplier. Use something that's a little more expensive so you know they're putting some quality into the processing line and there's no just like dirt getting thrown in there. True story, a lot of low budget filament suppliers, there are some Chinese filament suppliers that I know do this, especially in filaments like black, where it's pretty easy to cover up melt issues by just throwing in a little more colorant. And black covers up a multitude of sins, right? Like they will in injection molding facilities sweep the floor and throw it into the plastic bins and injection mold that into the part.
Ew.
Yeah. Because you get offcuts, you get shavings, you get this and that, and it if it melts, it'll end up in the injection molded part and it's fine. Now in filament, that's a bit more of an issue because you're squeezing that out of a nozzle. Like, I don't want them sweeping flour and throwing that in something that might end up in my coffee cup.
Yeah, I can understand that.
As a typical like daily PLA, daily ABS, daily PDG, whatever you like to print with on a daily basis, you could use it. It's good to have some cheap stuff on hand all the time, but I wouldn't make anything that I eat out of that. No.
Yeah.
If I were to make something that I was like eating or drinking out of, be smart about it. Use a filament that is reputably sourced. I know it can't be truly like FDA compliant sourced, but be smart about it. Don't do anything dumb with it. Don't go out and rub it in the dirt. Layer lines might get bacteria in it, whatever. Make sure that it's dishwasherable. Dishwashers do a much better job at getting the bacteria out of stuff than human hand washing does. Like a way better job.
Like my dishwasher has a mode to sterilize.
Yeah.
And according to it follows certain guidelines that we're going, okay. Really? Interesting. Yeah.
See, there's something you can do. If you can get a filament that'll stand up to those temperatures, maybe like an annealable PLA, I wouldn't call it food safe in the sense that it's legally food safe, but that's pretty smart. That's food smart. I would feel comfortable drinking out of something or eating off of, say, a spoon or something that I printed and was able to sterilize that way. I would feel comfortable about doing that.
I should send you some of this stuff, and then you can do that.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. I haven't printed with anything by Form Futura yet.
Oh man, I can get you off a large chunk of this stuff, roll it up, and send it in the mail to you.
Yeah, next time we're like mailing stuff back and forth, you should do that. I'd like to try some of that out. As long as it's enough to print a Benji.
Oh, I'll make sure it's more than enough to print a Benji.
Good.
I'll make sure you can print a tire with it.
Oh.
That'll give you 100 Gs. That should be more than enough.
That's good.
What's your feel about this stuff? When you get filament like this, that comes in the package, you open it up and bang.
And it slinkies all over the place, right? Just it's spaghetti. I do one of two things with that. If it's small enough, I will print with it just like that. Just keep an eye on it. Sort through it with your fingers and make sure there aren't any legitimate like knots that are about to bind up. But it should be able to feed through its own loose coil, and the coil turns, and it should be able to do that because you don't have a core that it's tightening up against, so it shouldn't be able to bind really. The other thing that I do, if it's a little longer, like maybe that style or that size of spool there, I would probably do this. I keep a couple old spools on hand. When I'm done with the spool of filament, I don't throw it away or recycle it. I keep a couple around. That way, when you get a loose coil like this, or you're just respooling some other filament for whatever reason, you just put that on and, wind it up. Then you know it'll feed right. So,
okay.
Like this.
What about like making this type of spool?
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect fit for it. See, so what that does there is that has looks like a pretty small inner diameter to fit a specific spool holder, but the diameter on the spool is big enough that the filament coil will stay tight around it.
Yeah, slightly smaller than the Filament.ca spool, as you can see.
Yeah, that is a
slightly
tighter.
Small, but this will fit anything I put it on, so it's been pretty good.
That's good. Yeah. If you don't have any spools on hand,
Yeah. Now I found this on
Two birds with one stone. Print that, and you might, if you use enough filament, you might have an empty spool as well.
And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do a vase out of this stuff. I don't know how well that's going to print out, but we'll give it a shot.
Which filament is that?
This is the Filament Gold Rush. Gold Happens, I should say.
Gold Happens. Okay.
Yeah, that's from Filament.
Got it.
Nice color though when it prints.
Yeah. How sparkly is it?
Very sparkly.
It's not like a linear shine like the Elixir PLA, but it's just like mini glitter, like really mini glitter.
Yep.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice stuff when it prints out. Like this stuff is Zytex White. I used to have it on another spool holder. Let me show you what happened to that one. So this is another spool holder I printed out. It goes together like this. It's supposed to hold the spool together, but guess what happened? The tabs don't lock in, so that when it printed, I put it together and it spooled. It went poof. Tabs broke off. Unraveled itself.
That's
Got that
not
tangled
good.
mess.
Yeah.
So this is a spool I cannot recommend.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah, it sucks. I was hoping for another spool that I could recommend. But when it does this, I can't recommend that. You know, when it breaks too easily. I mean, watch. Just a little bit of force.
Yeah. Anytime you're going on layer lines like that, and with such a thin cross section, I would have designed those tabs to be much thicker.
I would have designed it to be a screw, not a B.
Yeah, exactly. A screw is much better because then the things that are taking the force along the layer lines are inclined planes, and there's plenty of overlap between all of them to transfer the forces, unlike these tabs here. That's just makes me cringe a little bit. It's not a good use of FDM 3D printing.
Yeah.
Those little thin vertical tabs like that.
How about this one right here? I printed this at 0.4 layer height. It was
What nozzle
stringy
size?
as hell. With 0.4 nozzle.
A 0.4 nozzle and a 0.4 layer height?
Yeah.
Woo.
Stringy
I don't
as
know.
heck.
Yeah. I believe it.
I've gotten rid of 90% of it by just running some sandpaper and doing snips and whatever I could to clean it up. But the thing about it, this was all strings in here and here and here and here. It looked like a freaking spider web once I was done with it. Now someone said, "Oh, just hit it with a heat gun," but don't have a heat gun. Took flames to it and got rid of most of it.
Yeah.
But
Open flame is good.
Mostly
It'll
some-
just incinerate the strands for the most part.
Yeah, there's a couple more strands still kicking around, but other than that, for a 0.4, looks pretty clean.
Yeah, oddly so. Usually I don't print any thicker than, okay, most of the time I don't print any thicker than 0.25 layers on a 0.4 nozzle. Sometimes I'll go up to about a 0.3.
Okay.
Thickest I would recommend going is like 0.31, 0.32. Any thicker than that and you're really pushing it.
Really? How about 0.9?
Yeah. Like a 0.9 nozzle or a
No,
0.9?
if you had a point, say you set the layer height for 0.9. How bad would that be?
Very bad. Very bad. Yeah, very bad. Unless there's one way you could get around it. If you had a nozzle that had a very wide, flat tip, and you made your extrusion width super wide, like at least 1 or 1.1 millimeters. Now you're gonna have to go really slow because you are compressing the crap out of that filament and then trying to pour into a massive space underneath the nozzle. It's gonna be a mess for a bit, but like you could do it.
Yeah. Well, Chris Riley came in and he was asked the same question. He said Prusa all the way because in most cases it's going to be easier to work with, firmware, hardware, etc. And I agree with him.
And the auto
100% on
calibration
that.
stuff is easier to work with. It just, it is.
That's why I would say, like, if I was to recommend a printer, that's why I said Prusa myself. But I said the MK2 rather than the MK3 because the MK2 is so at a good price right now, where the MK3 is still way too high up there.
Yeah, the MK2 has, well, and the Mark IIs, especially, it's at a good point. It's very mature. The features are well documented. They have the kinks worked out of them, and nothing like too cutting edge that it's, you know, iffy. Like some of the stuff on the Mark III, you know, you've got the skip detection, which usually works. The sensorless homing, which sometimes works, and the, you know, they're having those extrusion issues, and like there's just it's not mature yet.
Speaking
It's
of which,
very full featured, but not mature.
do you happen to have that print station still available to show off what you were doing with that yesterday, or are you not allowed to show anything of that?
Print station, print station.
T-shirt print station you were showing me?
Ooh, I have some of that.
Can you show it off or no? What's left of it?
Yeah, I can show you. Oh, my legs. Ow.
See, this is why you guys.
I was at a wedding this week, and my legs are sore from dancing.
Yeah,
It was a good party. It was a really good party. Okay, so can you see the part of the table's over there, part of the table's over there, part of the beams are over there, part of the rail's over there. Most of the components are up there. So the electronics, it is spread all around that shop.
Oh wow!
So it is completely disassembled. A lot of the parts went out to the scrap heap. Everything that wasn't valuable or useful.
Do you have the NEMA 19 motors available to show
off? No NEMA 19s. However, there were some NEMA 17s and some NEMA 23s.
23, then, yeah.
I could go up and get them, but I gotta dig around.
Never mind.
Boxes up there. Yeah, it came with some really nice stepper motors. Really nice.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, this is like NEMA 23s. What can you use them for in a 3D print build?
Big printers, big
printers.
fast X, Y axes. Oh yeah, you can move a lot of weight with those things. But
Now-
you got to make sure your belts aren't the limiting factor. If your belts are thin, like you're using just like standard 6mm GT2, and you're trying to just stick a bigger motor on, your belts are going to be, proportionally speaking, bouncy like rubber bands. I mean, the motors are going to give you a nice performance increase, but the belts aren't going to be able to take it. They'll be a bottleneck.
Ah, so you're bottleneck. Okay, because I don't know if you've seen the Funking F1K he's building.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, you don't sound too happy about it.
No, I would like to talk with him about many of those design features. That's exactly the type of printer that I design and build, like for fun. Jacob and I do that all the time. I don't want to speak too much about it here, but I see a lot of design issues.
Sorry.
That are easy to fix. If you had a machine designer on the board, so to speak, you could change a lot of things that are pretty simple changes, but would make the print a lot better.
All I have is one thing to say that I have to put out here. I like your thinking, how you're doing that, Robbie Mack, and I will have to show him what you've been working on at the end of the show.
Got something to show me? What's Robbie been working on?
At the end.
Okay.
You can't
At
see
the
anything.
end.
I can't let everyone else see it yet. It's not done yet.
Aw.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this that gnome thing?
Huh?
Is this that gnome thing?
Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, it's what he's working on looks good. Trust me. Speaking of which,
Okay.
do you know if we can get Grant on the show anytime soon? I don't know if he's busy or not.
Do you want him on?
Like to get him on, and we can talk 3D
I
print
can talk
farms.
to him.
And
Yeah, he's the guy to talk to about farms. He and Jacob both have run just so many hours on farms. You know, I'm more of an experimenter guy. Like I do a lot of prints with very deliberate tests. But when it comes to hours, like just getting hours done, that man has so much more than me. It's nuts. I mean, yeah, he's the one to talk to about farms. He knows how to do it. So he'd be a very interesting guest.
if I wanted to start a farm and say I got like a couple of printers and I was willing to, each one was running, what can I expect? What has to be done to join one?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, he can tell you exactly what that's like.
I've got some farming stuff that's coming my way that people have said, "Hey, you got a CR10? Can you print this out for me?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I can." Load up a load of white or whatever, or the filament I got kicking around. If there's no color thing that has to worry about, I grab a roll of white, pop it on the printer, feed it through. They're usually just small little things, but right
Little
now,
trinkets and stuff. Yeah.
huge. I told people if it's a 2 or 3 day build or a 1 day build, anything under 12 hours I can do right now.
Sure. Just
I
for
don't-
reliability's sake, or what's the?
I don't trust my printer.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a little bit.
I like to be there
Something.
while it prints. That way if the thing goes wrong, I can actually stop it and I can walk away from it.
Let's be real. There is a decent chance that something will go wrong. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah,
Well,
especially
that
with
makes sense.
CR10. I mean, I get a lot of people that are cosplay fans that like, hey, can you print me out this? It's like
Some
they'll send it
big
to me a big
shoulder
design.
piece or a helmet or
Yeah.
it's big parts, man. They take a
I'm
long
just like
time.
going, that's a lot of time it's going to take me to print it out. And honestly, I don't feel comfortable running my printer that long. And they go,
Right.
oh, well, why do you feel that? I haven't even turned on the safety features back on my printer yet. I haven't done
exactly.
the firmware
I
updates.
wouldn't run something that long until you've got all your thermal runaway protections enabled. Just cause, it's
We've
not
seen
worth
so
it.
many other printers go up in fire.
It's not likely, but why would you take the chance? You might as well have thermal runaway protection. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
I was also talking to somebody about printers, and they were asking like, what's a good starting printer? I'm gonna say an ANET A8, but just hear me out for a second before you start going, no, that's
Okay.
a terrible idea.
Okay.
As long as they get one of these and they have thermal runaway protection and all the security is turned on.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple gripes with the ANET A8 specifically.
Okay.
And I have a gripe about their company culture, but I mean, it can be a good starter printer. Grant is probably the one to talk to about that. He uses them for beginning printing classes. So I don't know what the whole deal on that is. I haven't helped him out with one of those, but he would be the one to talk to about that sort of thing. Now, that said, I wouldn't recommend them personally as a first-time printer because they've just got so much room to upgrade. And I don't mean that in a good way, really. Sometimes room to upgrade can be a good thing. Like, yeah, you print out more upgrades for your printer and, you make your printer better by printing printed parts for your printer. Like, that's cool. But, like, with the ANET A8, it's not a matter of refinement. It's a matter of, like, just basic. Use safety features, people, and underrated connectors that are not rated for the amperages that they're putting through. Usually the fires happen in the bed connector. And
Really?
I have seen so many pictures of those things, smoked out. You get an arc inside of that because the terminals are not designed to carry that much current. And it just makes me nervous. My other gripe with ANET is that these have been issues for, what, a year and a half, 2 years? What is it now? I mean, how long has the ANET A8 been out? And they're not fixed. They're not fixed. They haven't changed the design. These are easy fixes. It might cost you 25 cents more per printer to switch to a plug that is actually spec'd for this much current. And they didn't. They haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't excuse that, really.
Throw up your hands in the air and just go, I give up.
Yeah, I give up. Guys, yeah. You could get one and you could just hard solder the wires yourself. You could get one and you can, change some fans. You can get one and you can swap for better linear rods, bearings, whatever. You can get one and you can install Z braces. You can get one and you can swap the frame out for, an AM8. You can get one and you can swap the board out for something that has better MOSFETs. You can, swap the firmware. That's a lot of swapping. Why not just get something a little more expensive in the first place? I don't know.
Spend a little bit of money.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. It's a stupid saying, but it's true. You're getting what you're paying for, and if you're only paying a little, what you're getting is probably not worth that much.
It's cheap components. They skipped on some stuff, and they have failed to address fundamental design issues, safety stuff. Just like yeah.
Let's throw another one at you then.
Ooh.
Out of 3 printers that you could have, you're only allowed to have one of these styles.
Ooh, this is a good question. I was expecting like, if you could have any printer you want, what would you get? I'm like, well, an EOSint, whatever, $1 million printer. That's a silly question. We've all heard that one, but let's see.
Okay. Would you go resin, Delta,
Okay.
or Cartesian?
That is a very interesting question. So I'll have to ask one other thing. Is this in supplement to what I already have? Like if somebody's asking me if I can get a new printer? Or is this like I have to give up all my printers, I get stuck on a desert island, with a solar panel and one printer, right?
Desert island with the one solar panel.
Yep. A desert island, one solar panel, a whole bunch of material, and one printer only. What do I pick? I would probably not pick the resin printer, just because if I could only use one printer for the rest of my life, I would probably pick FDM, just because in terms of functional parts, it's better. It's not as messy. It's easier to use.
Now, would you want that to be a Caucasian, or would you be looking at Delta?
Good question. And I suppose that depends on the hardware. I would probably pick Cartesian just because they're easier to troubleshoot. And if I only have one printer and I'm unable to print parts for it on other printers, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Then I would probably pick Cartesian just for simplicity. Now, if it were like I can have 2 printers, I would have a Cartesian and a Delta because I like the variety. And Deltas are not only are they fun, but yeah, they can be fast and they can do cool stuff. They can have lightning fast Z-hops. They can have travel moves that are really high accelerations. They can print some really nice parts.
Print faces really nicely too.
Yeah, they can do faces really nice. Deltas are cool, man. They're really cool. But if I could only have one, I probably wouldn't be a Delta unless it were like a high end, like a Ultibots D300 VS Plus or a CBCNC Artemis.
Yes, the CNC Artemis, I agree with you.
Yeah. If it wasn't one of those.
The TiVo Lil Monster.
Yeah. They could be a bit of a monster sometimes. Yeah.
A monster. Yeah. Everybody on the channel probably just laughed when they heard me say that,
Yeah.
He's like, Volume Mac came up with a good one. He said resin. Then you can print a boat that won't disintegrate during my trip home.
Yeah. Oh, you could do that with FDM too.
Well, the problem with resin is that, okay, number one, how do you cure it? You're going to need acetone. You're going to need other equipment to stop the process.
Luckily, okay, the desert island was a little silly, but like you can fully cure resins by setting them out in the sun and let the ultraviolet do it. It's just easier and quicker and more even in a ultraviolet oven. Yeah, you need a lot more post-processing stuff. You're going to need a wash station. You're going to need gloves. You're going to need yada yada. Right? Now that's why I asked that question about whether this is like in addition to my printing farm or if I only had one. If I could choose any one printer to add to my collection, I would actually choose a resin printer because I have a Delta, I have Cartesians, and while having more would be cool, that just gives me more throughput. It doesn't give me any new capabilities. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Having a resin printer would let me do things that I actually can't do now.
Well, you heard about the BS I got to deal with for getting rid of resin, right?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, but that's the city of Cambridge for you. I mean, the city where I live, they want to charge me this X amount of money to get rid of resin because they don't have anybody that prints with resin in my area. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they can do that.
Yeah, like if I got a resin printer, I'd probably donate it to one of the clubs out here. I'd say, okay, here's my resin printer. I got it from blah, blah, blah. I've done my testing with it. It's now your guys. Because I don't want to pay for the cost of selling this and disposing of it.
Yeah.
It's just too much for me. Now, a makerspace would appreciate one of those.
Yes, a makerspace would be a good fit for that.
Mm-hmm.
They'd get enough use out of it to make sure that the resin doesn't like go bad and it's not sitting for too long and all that stuff. Plus, as a little larger scale institution, they might have more the ability to dispose of bad resin and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, that being said, we really kind of covered a little bit of a gamut. We didn't really have any printers to fix this time around, which was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, that's right. I got to talk to Krieg 2D. Yeah.
Craig.
Now that I got back from the trip. So I got
Ben wasn't able to come on because he was working, from what I was told.
All right. Well, I'll message Ben later.
Yeah, he'll probably be appreciative of you contacting him.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
But he says printer's been working great right now. So
really, that's good.
Yeah, everything that you've done has fixed it. So we're gonna have fun next week when we finally crack open my machine and we do the upgrade to it.
Yes.
Nervous as hell doing the firmware update.
We'll see how that goes.
But
I'll read up. I'll do my homework.
Yeah, it seems like Tom Sandlander has done it all right, so we'll watch his video about it.
Yep, he steps into it real nice.
Yeah, and just learn about it. Now, has anybody here on that has already done the update yet, or no?
I don't know anybody personally. I know of a whole bunch of people who have done it, many, but I don't personally know anybody who has.
Okay, so there isn't anyone that you talked to that says that they've done it and they've had success.
Not like one-on-one talking with them. No.
Okay.
I've just seen, here's an example. Somebody will post a print in the Facebook group. It's like, yeah, I'm liking how this turned out, although there's this little issue here. You guys have any ideas? And then people will post their comments on, yeah, that looks nice, although I think you should tweak this, change this, yada, yada. And then somebody will ask, well, what's your printer? What's your settings? What's this? And they might say, oh, it's a CR10 with the firmware update.
Yeah. Chris Riley sent you a message, by the way. Says there's an email on lead screws that you wanted.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Chris, I didn't get to that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, let me respond to that. I'll check on that tonight. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get to that yet.
Well, I got some interesting news also on my front. I may be being interviewed soon to talk about printers.
Like on TV
talk about
station,
3D printers on another show called The Average Guy TV. So it's going to be Average talking about 3D printers, like what's good one, what's best one. I'm going to say Delta, no. Resin,
for somebody
no.
new, yeah, probably not. I would say a Prusa Mark II, Mark IIs.
How about Maker Select version 2.0?
They're okay. So they're pretty much the same thing as that monoprice version. They're pretty similar to the.
Well, it is monoprice, really. It's monoprice mini.
Yeah, they're just rebranded. What's the name of the Australian rebrand? Cocoon Create. That's it. Yep. Good memory. There's a whole bunch of rebrands of it. They're okay. No frills. At least it's like a sturdy frame.
It's a good start, I would think, for anyone, really.
Yeah.
If they don't have the money for the Prusa, if you have the money for the Prusa, go with the Prusa.
Absolutely. I would go for the Prusa if you have the money for it.
Yeah.
If you don't, I don't know. Nowadays, you could do a CR10S, or you could do a.
That's the thing. I don't know if a big printer would be a good start for
having
a big
whole foot by foot by foot. Yeah, well, stuff is more manageable at a small scale.
Exactly, and that's why I'm thinking something that small.
Yeah.
It is manageable enough that you can print on that with no problem.
I think the monoprice, what's not the i3, not the Maker Select. Hang on, I'm having a brain fart right now. Is Maker Select the one with the cantilever, or is that the i3?
No, it's the i3 style.
Okay, that's what I thought. What is the name of the little one? I recommend it to several friends. They've got them. It works great. What's the name of that? Why am I blanking out on this?
Is it from Monoprice?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Monoprice.
Same thing as the Malian E180, I think. Or maybe it's E200.
Let's go to Monoprice and let's choose.
Why can't I remember? Let's see. There it is. Select Mini. Yeah. That's the thing. Select Mini is not the same as Maker Select. They're two different products.
Yeah.
So, that's what I was mixed up. Yeah, the Select Mini is great. If you don't have the budget, honestly, you can't do a lot better than the Select Mini. They've got a sturdy frame. They've got a nice board inside. They have decent hardware. They really do. Like, it's surprising how good it is. When that first came out,
cheese from the east or something like that. That most people call it.
I don't know.
Because I know
that's funny.
I know Bear has one.
Mm-hmm.
And he complains as soon as he turns it on, it's like screaming like a banshee.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. I mean, they are cheap components, so the fans are loud, and the frame, being sheet metal, has a lot of resonating surface, so the stepper motor sounds get amplified. It's not a quiet printer by any stretch of the imagination. There are better architectures for that. Delta can be quieter, etc. But you know, if you are on a budget, that's pretty good.
They do also happen to have this one now, which I was looking at also.
The Mini Delta?
No, the Maker Ultimate 3D printer, the MK11.
Okay, this I would like to have one of these. I really would. I just don't have the money for it. If somebody would donate one, I would love it. But no. I don't beg for printers.
Okay,
my
then
thoughts on this.
You guys can deliver it to my house then. I'll take it. Hang on, let me go stop here. Okay, guys, if you want to give it to me,
hey, wait a minute! No, give it to me.
I will pet it, and I will take care of it.
Cherish it forever. Oh, I'll feed it only the choicest free-range 3D filaments. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then once I'm done
free-range filament.
Free-range filament.
I'll walk it every day. Please, Mom.
And then I'll give it to Daniel. So Daniel can destroy it, take it apart. And,
oh, damn it. You know I would, too.
I know you would.
That's exactly what I would do with it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I would do.
I know you would tear that thing apart. You would have that thing apart in so many pieces, make everybody's head spin.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. That printer has some really nice hardware in it. Like, legitimate, really nice hardware. Okay, so what are we looking at? We're looking at a ball screw. We're looking at some nice beefy Z-rods. You see that? We're looking at a cantilevered bed that actually, surprise, is pretty decently built for the size that it is. It's not going to deflect that much, so that's good. The ball screw will make Z-motion very smooth. Next up, what are we looking at? All metal frame, and this is an integral frame. It's not just like a shell that just covers like a little skinny, spindly frame. No, that sheet steel frame is actually what the frame uses. So,
full SD card.
Yes, full-size SD card. It's got a nice screen. It's got a nice little dial. It's got it's a good standalone printer.
And it's also, I believe, if I remember correctly, this is a full version of Marlin. It's using Marlin.
I don't know if it is or not, compatible. But about 30 minutes after I got my hands on it, it would be.
Yeah.
The next thing about it. So remember what I said about the flash forges being sturdy enough to you can ship them and pluck them out of the van, set them on the ground, start a print on them right away.
Yeah.
That would also apply to this one. The frame being as sturdy as it is, there isn't room for, like, say, brackets to shift like they can on a aluminum extrusion frame like 2020. That's not going to happen with this thing. This is going to be very stable over time. You're not going to need to level it very much. It's going to be very, very rigid.
I hit the
But my
wrong
favorite thing about this whole thing is the XY system. I love, see if you can find a picture of the top of the XY system, because I want to just nerd out about this for a little bit. I love
Okay,
this
so
system.
you want to see the top of an XY?
The top of that particular, the Maker
You don't have
Ultimate.
one.
Huh?
There's no top view.
There's no top view? Dang. Are there any
Yeah.
views that let you peek a little bit?
Let me go in there. Let me go on the website.
Maybe just check
I'm
on
gonna pull
Google.
up the model again, and I'm going to see it on Google, see what I can find.
Yeah, see if you can check it on Google. So this is not exactly a clone, but a very similar design to Ultimaker. Quad Wrap is the name, or cross gantry. So it's very, very good, kinematically speaking. It's a parallel mechanism, no motors moving around.
Daniel,
Yeah,
you're going to want to see this.
huh?
You're going to want to see this. Now, I want you to understand. You cannot go crazy over this, okay? I want
Deep
you to
breath.
relax. Take a deep breath in.
Okay.
Take a deep
what is
breath
it?
out.
I am calm. Okay. What's this? $400?
Yeah. It's on sale right now. It's
Sorry.
11% off, and it's also open box.
I don't care if it's open box.
It's a 24-volt system
I
too,
can
by the
fix
way.
anything. Yeah, 24 volt is great. That's the future. Oh gosh. Oh, if I had that, imagine. Oh, you stick a sliced mosquito on that thing. Oh, and then it would be so good. It would be so good. I want it so bad. $400. Oh, maybe. I'll have to think. I don't know. Sorry, I'm freaking out. He told me not to, and I did it anyway.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew that.
That is a hell of a lot of printer for $400.
Okay, so guys, if you want to help us out, send the money to me or to. Well, no, send the money to me, and I can send it to
I would
Daniel.
put it towards that. Yeah.
Then Daniel can somehow get it to me.
If you guys have $500 to spend on a printer and you're wondering whether you should put it towards a Prusa or put it towards a FlashForge or put it towards that, put it towards that. Skip the FlashForge, put it towards this one. I'll tell you why. You can enclose the sides easily, and it will do that same nice warm enclosure that the FlashForge will do, but you can see in better. You can see through the sides better. It can print very reliably like a FlashForge, direct drive, but it's better. It's inertially isotropic. X and Y axes have the same mass and the same drive system and the same specific stiffness. They have the same specific power or power to weight ratio. So your ringing is going to be the same in all directions, meaning if you dial one of the axes down to the point where the ringing just disappears, you can dial the other axis down to exactly that same amount. And your prints will be faster than they were on a FlashForge, where you're carrying around a whole bunch of motors. Next up, 24 volts. It's very nice.
Apparently, it's a Wanhao i6 Duplicator 6, actually.
That's right. The Wanhao Duplicator 6 is the same basic model. There were a couple tweaks. I don't think it's exactly the same. Is the Wanhao Duplicator 6 got a ball screw? I seem to remember those used to use a lead screw. Maybe not now, but...
Looking at it right now, it looks like this might be it.
Yep. It's basically a rebrand.
Let me pull it up on here so you can get.
Let's have a look-see.
Sure.
I wish I had one of those. They are very sturdy, very, very sturdy. That's a nice acrylic box on top of that thing. I like that. That'd be good for printing high-temp stuff like polycarbonate. That'd be really
And
good.
also printing ABS too.
Yeah. Oh, it wouldn't have any problems at all with ABS. If you were to run ABS through that thing, it's good print like
I'd like to talk to Wanhao and see if they would like to send me a printer or two just to review.
What's the power or the price on that from this website?
This is $125.
Why? Oh, it's the enclosure kit. Okay. I was like, how much? Oh, yeah. Enclosure kit. Yeah, $125 for an enclosure is reasonable. Take a look at that door. Look at the door at the lower left-hand side.
Yeah, I know.
That hinge, that's nice. Yeah. That's a nice enclosure kit.
A lot of people will get like a nice printer and then throw like a cardboard box over it. This is a little more highbrow. This is more worthy of the printer, you know. All one how 3D printers. Click that. I want to see if these guys carry the. Yeah. Oh, is that with the enclosure? Do they sell a version without the enclosure?
That's the enclosure kit.
See if they sell one that's just the printer.
Here it is.
No, it's i3 Plus. Okay, these other ones, like the Duplicator 5S, those are pretty good. Those are pretty cool. There we go. So 635, yeah, that's more typical. That's what you usually see.
There you go.
Okay, all right, let's hold on and take a look at this. That XY system right there.
Let me try to make it large here.
What you're looking at, and there are some pluses, some minuses to this. Yeah, right there. Remember what an Ultimaker does? An Ultimaker has a very, very similar system, except that they've only got one set of rods, and the nozzle is off-center. Now, with this particular implementation, this is direct drive, by the way.
Yeah.
The nozzle is coming down between the center of the rods, which is cool. Like from a symmetry standpoint, I like that. That just looks, and it's nice, man. It's nice. But from a weight perspective, you're carrying around a lot of weight. And also, it's not as stiff as it would be if you had a single set of larger rods. Think about weight distribution, right? Well, this is one for the engineers. Second moment of the area, right? Units of length to the fourth, right? That determines basically how much the cross-sectional area impacts its stiffness. Using two rods that are thinner, I think these are like 6 millimeter, will have lower stiffness per weight than a single thicker rod. So this isn't quite as high performance, maybe, because, you know, remember what you're always fighting is the amount of stiffness per weight that you have, because basically all the forces being generated are coming from accelerating and decelerating your own weight. So you're always fighting that. But it's pretty good. And it's very stable because you have so many rods going through. There's no rocking, nothing. It's very stable. In fact, this architecture has very little room for ringing because it's not going to tip much, right? It's not going to shake around the rods much. The rods themselves aren't going to deflect a whole lot because there are a bunch of them. The print area isn't like ridiculously wide, so the rods aren't like so long that they're going to bounce. And the belts, let's look at the belts. This architecture has 2 belts per side. So that means that you have well, not only that, the belts are also short. They're the minimum distance, you know, they're just single loop, not like a XY. So the belts are going to be a much lower source of vibration than on other types of printers. So this is a great architecture. Like if you want fast, controllable XY movements, this is the way to do it.
So would you recommend someone that buy one of these for sure, or not?
Yes,
for sure?
I would recommend that you buy it, but I would recommend that you make a couple tweaks.
Okay, what would you change then?
I would change a couple things. This could be an absolute monster of a printer if you do just a couple small fixes. One, this printer is capable mechanically of movements faster than a Marlin, you know, board could do. So I forget what board is in it. It might be a Rambo. It's going to be a little bit of a bottleneck. Not bad, but like by the end of this, you could put like a duet or something in it. But anyway, go ahead and put the newest version of Marlin 1.1.9 on the board because you're going to want to be using the new linear advance algorithm.
Okay.
The new linear advance algorithm is excellent through a Bowden tube. A short Bowden tube like this is going to be great. So what I would do for a second fix is take that big direct drive massive thing hanging on there and pull that off.
Yeah.
And I would hang 2 things underneath. One is a sliced mosquito hot end, and 2 is a 50-15 cooling fan. You are going to chop so much weight out of that. It's going to be crazy.
So that would
convert
allow
it
it
to
to run
Bowden.
faster across
Much
the
faster.
rails?
Yes, it's not going to take much distance to get up to speed.
Okay.
So you combine that with a fresh flash of Marlin, and you're going to have total control over like your acceleration stuff. I would expect it to push 2Gs,
Jesus Christ.
which is nuts. I know. 1G at least, guaranteed. It'll push a G.
Okay.
Easily. So just that there, it will print small stuff, especially faster than like a CR10, way faster.
Yeah.
Faster.
All I keep on hearing though in the background is cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
I know, that's the thing. If you were to fully trick one of these out, it'd cost you $1,000. But that said, it would beat the snot out of like a Flash Forge or a Prusa in terms of print quality and speed. It would beat the snot out of it.
We should explain something though. When Daniel thinks about printers, he's thinking about how to beat every printer out there on the market.
Oh, I want to go fast. I want to be precise. I want to be rigid. I want speed. You know, it's all about removing bottlenecks. You know, you find what the weak links in the system are, and you're trying to remove it. Sometimes a good printer can be hampered by just a couple small design decisions, and if you mod those out, you can find that you just raise your overall print quality by a lot. So that's kind of the case with this thing. Having so much mass moving around in a direct drive, it's okay, but it just means your print speeds are going to be basically what everybody else's are, even on like an i3. But if you convert this system to Bowden, it is so fast.
We had a question come in, and I'm sorry I didn't get to this first, and I do apologize who sent this to me. I believe this was, I want to say Trolling for Dollars sent this in. He's looking for a main board that is about $100 for AMA Plus. It could be, he wants it to be at least Marlin if capable. And he's looking for a TMC with a 2660.
Okay, 2660 is a difficult driver to find. They are great drivers, but as far as I know, the only board, well, you better be going off with a Duet. You'd be better off going with a Duet if what you really want is those drivers. That said, there are good alternatives to those drivers, like standalone or like plug-in ones with the Pololu form factor. You can get, oh, what is it? What's the new Trinamic one? I forget. I need to research it. There's a newish one out there that would do basically the same stuff. But let me get this straight. So you're probably looking for a 32-bit board. Really, if you want to spend $100, you might as well get like, all the features that 32-bit control provides. But if you're really okay with Marlin, like 1.1.9, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you're probably going to have a board with standalone drivers.
Ooh.
What's that?
Yeah. If I show you this, calm down.
Yeah.
That is
review
the
of the
side
Monoprice Maker Ultimate. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what the side of the extrusion looks like. Can you zoom in on that or click that picture just so people can see? Yeah. So yeah, that's open image, a new tab, maybe. It's a 2-year-old printer. The electronics in it are all old.
There you go. Full
There's
detail
nothing
picture.
new about it. Okay, let's look at the left side of that Z-axis. Okay, all metal blocks.
Let me lock
Holding
it.
the Z-axis.
Lock my picture here. There we go.
Yeah. You see that on the left side? Everything is held in by like milled aluminum blocks. So your Z-axis is very sturdy.
The head.
Yeah, now the head. Okay, yes, that is a very outdated, in my opinion, hot end style. It's got a lot of thermal mass, so it takes a little while to heat up, but its temps are pretty stable once you get going.
Yeah. So you would actually change out the head and put a mosquito head on there for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I would definitely put a mosquito on it, and here's why.
So someone's asking. Chris Riley wants to know he posted this in the chat. Okay. And I know a little bit more about this than I don't want to say anything, but he's like, I'm talking with the guys. I was talking to the guys over at Slice. They seem to like Daniel What's the story there? LOL.
Oh, that's funny. They seem to like it. Well, that's good. I'm glad they like me. I have some test results I still need to give them. I failed to meet a couple deadlines, and I was hoping I didn't burn any bridges. I love those Slice guys. They are so smart. If you meet them at like a printing festival, you got to go up and talk to them. They know their stuff. They're fun to talk to. Check out their hardware. It is some of the best like I have seen.
Listen, we were sitting right beside them. I know what
Yeah.
they had to say. I was there
Yeah.
too. I mean,
You saw
these guys
it.
are just
Is their
crazy.
stuff cool? Like they had such a cool booth, and they're just so smart.
I'd like to buy their.
Those guys are the real deal.
Buy one of their nozzles. I just can't see a justification for it yet.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say this about the Slice stuff. This is not a product meant to be marketed to people who are in the market for like a V6 clone. If you're in the market for V6 clone, you're not going to be in the market for a Slice hot end. They are for different people and they are for different printers. This is a high performance hot end. How I got connected with them was, I think it was through Grant. Grant had an odd connection. Did that just turn sideways?
Nope. Now you're sideways.
Let me try this again. Because my phone just started saying, oh, low battery complaint.
Oh, okay.
I think it, oh, there we go. It turned
there you go.
my rotation off.
Ah.
Yeah, odd. So I don't have a
You
whole
need
lot
a
of battery
charger?
left, and I don't have a charger. Oh, I do have a charger. But I'll go a little longer before it plugged in.
Okay.
So anyway, Grant connected me with these guys. So like, new hot end? Well, it's expensive-ish. I don't know. Well, I don't know what else there is to do with hot ends, really. Like an E30 V6 gets all the stuff done. It checks all the check boxes. It extrudes. It keeps the heat where the heat needs to be, and it keeps cold where cold should be. And the plastic goes in, the plastic comes out. What really else do you need from a hot end? Really, there isn't anything else a hot end is supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to do. The thing is, the Slice hot ends just do all those little things better
Yeah.
than anything else I've seen. Grant got us on a video chat with them, and I went in a little hesitant. You see, at Art3, we try to design and build really high-performance printers, and he was thinking, yeah, I think these guys have a product that would be a little more high-performance than like E30 V6. I was like, okay, well, let's talk to them. But I came away from that meeting very impressed with the amount of engineering that these guys had put into their stuff. They have put a lot of thought into their product, and the engineering principles are all very sound. As a thermodynamics engineer at my normal day job, which granted is at an HVAC place, but I mean, I use thermal transfer every day. These guys, I can say, have done the best job of thermal design out of any desktop hot end I've ever seen. So what I mean by that is their heat breaks are extremely effective. The thermal transition zone is the shortest I have ever seen. I'm not going to necessarily call it the shortest out there, but I think it is. Now what that means is your retractions are just ridiculously clean, because the amount of filament that is molten, the amount of filament that is cold, they stay exactly the same, very consistent all the time, and the amount of filament that is somewhat gushy but not necessarily controllable is short, very, 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 very short. So your control over the hot end is super precise. When we bought, and it was expensive, we kind of like funded from them just to see if, they actually knew what they were talking about. We bought one of their prototypes, and we stuck it on a printer, and I was just messing around with it and was actually very surprised that, yeah, it's the real deal. Like, retractions on it are ridiculously good. Like, I have never seen that amount of filament control before. I didn't even know it was possible. It was like, what? Wow. And there are a whole bunch of reasons for that. I could go into the engineering behind that, but I don't want to like spill all the secrets. And I would let them cover that. But yeah, message me about it. I'll talk to you about it. I ended up liking the hot end so much. I told Grant and Jacob like privately in a message after. I was like, okay, listen up, guys. These are expensive, but I need them on our printers. I was like, I want these. I want these hot ends. Either DV6, whatever. We can put some of those on there too. We're doing a tool changing, but I was like, I want some of these. And they're like, okay, all right. We'll do what the engineer says. So they did. They hooked us up with some of these, and I am loving it. They are just phenomenal hot ends. They are very controllable. Yeah, they just do everything that like a normal good hot end does, a little better. The friction inside is a little less. The heat transfer is a little less. The melt zone is a little cleaner. Through traction is a little shorter. The amount of heat creep up to the top that the fan has to take out is a little less. The weight is a little less. The height is a little less. Just everything about it is just a little better, you know? The flow rate is a little higher. The thermal conductivity of the block is a little better. The temperature control is a little tighter. The engineering tolerance, manufacturing tolerance is a little higher.
Well, there goes another train.
Yep. Yeah, you hear it. So yeah, that's basically all things. Everything that hot end is supposed to do, a sliced hot end does, and does honestly like a bit better than just about anything I've ever seen. So that's why I would put it on this Maker Select printer. Like if we're talking about just in terms of hardware, you could put an E3D V6 on it, but while we're in the process of like, okay, you get this printer for cheap and you're trying to turn it into an absolute beast, a sliced hot end is a little lighter than a V6. So if we're going for a speed demon here, that would be the way to go. It also has a higher maximum flow rate. So yeah, a sliced hot end would be, again, the way to go over a V6. So
yeah. So
that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I guess, I didn't really answer Chris Filey's question. Why do they like us? Well, I like their product. You know, being a thermodynamics engineer, I recognized what they were doing, and I realized that it's a level of innovation that we haven't really seen in the hot end sphere since the E3D V6 came out. That was like right when I started printing. The V6 came out, and it was a big deal. Like, hey, let's apply, you know, proper engineering tolerance and stuff to this. But with a twist, the E3D V6 was made to be turned on a lathe. You know, you can mass produce those like nobody's business. It's also cheap to clone. So they became the hot end everywhere. All these clone printers have them. And then hot end development kind of stagnated for a while. Rep hot ends like the old Merlin and whatnot, they kind of stagnated, went out on the wayside, and the V6 type became the standard. And then there really wasn't much more development. And then the slice guys came along, and it's like, wow, that's new. Yeah, I like this. I like what they're doing. So I was also kind of outspoken at like Murph and Earth, and sometimes online too, but mostly just like at Murph and Earth, I was really telling people when they saw like some of the stuff we printed, or when they asked what hot ends were going on our machine, I would point them off to the slice booth and say, go talk to those guys. You'll see why we're putting 3 of those on our machine. 2 E3D hot ends and then 3 slice hot ends. They are very good. They are very good. So.
Yeah, I just looking at something here. It seems that something's been removed from my account. I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. There's one other reason why we put a mosquito on the Maker Select Ultimate. It's like black and silver, and it would look schmexy as hell. But anyway, I'm a little bit of a sucker for that. I like stuff to match, and if possible, I mean, not a big deal, but like, it would look really good on a Maker Select Ultimate, don't you think? Like one of those black and silver hot ends just slung underneath that would look awesome. That would look so good.
Yeah, just give me one more.
Sure.
Well, we should call it an end tonight. Anyways, we are coming up to after 12 a.m. So
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone for coming in, including Carl, who came in, which was awesome, from NAC 3D Designs. Same with also having all our viewers here, like Red Light, Rover, Chris Riley, Mad Max. You guys are all great. Thanks for coming on in. I do appreciate it. Anytime you guys come in, enter the chat. It's always welcomed. You guys don't, like I said, I have donation set up. I also have the website net. Okay, you want to come over to Facebook and you have a Facebook account. You don't have to have Facebook. I'm just saying, if you have Facebook, like a lot of people do. Pulling up Facebook right now.
Yeah, switch.
You're gonna see all my
screens.
friends and everything else. So don't start bugging them, and if you want to, don't bug them, please. Okay? Saying.
I'm gonna switch screens.
I'm gonna share my screen here.
There we go.
You type up here and you type in Canadian Maker Project. We now have an area on Facebook.
Ooh, nice.
We don't have a lot of people in there, but if you guys want to come on in, just go to Canadian Maker Project in there, search us up. It is a closed group right now, but what you can do is once you get in there and you start chatting and you fill out the information sheet, I will let you in. I want to keep this group as closed as possible. So
The real core members, like those who really interact with the chat,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I don't want this to be like, we go here and we just post our pictures or whatever. I want this to be questions, anything like that.
Maybe like
Daniel,
follow-ups
I
too,
believe
like
you've been
if somebody was
added as a member
troubleshooting.
already.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, Daniel's already a member. So if you guys want to get in with all the cool
that.
people,
I just remembered. Check this out. Here, click my profile. Look at my cover photo. Some of you might be wondering like why Techie Fiddler is my online.
because you play the fill.
Yeah, I fiddle. I do a lot of bluegrass and stuff. I actually just got back this weekend. I was playing Norwegian style fiddle at a friend's wedding. So
Okay,
that was really cool.
When we go offline, I'm going to show you something really cool then.
Awesome. Anyway, side note.
Yeah. So thank you everyone once again for watching. Join us up on Facebook. I have no face friends. That's okay, Chris Riley. We know that you don't like to go on any other social media and you just keep it simple. We understand. But for everyone else that does, remember, just jump online. Join us over here on the Facebook. We'd like to have you in. And with that, thank you so much for everyone that watched and have yourselves a great day.
Thanks, everybody.